Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local. We're talking SEC Media Days. That's because Brett is in Atlanta, Georgia at the College Football Hall of Fame for SEC Media Days. Got kicked off this morning with Commissioner Greg Sankey. We had 4 teams today, 4 teams tomorrow, 4 teams on Wednesday, 4 teams on Thursday. We'll talk a lot about it. LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt went today, so we'll talk a lot about them. Landon Schmidt producing for us this afternoon. A super busy show, a super busy week on Sports Time. But, Brett, how are things down in Atlanta?
It's very busy, but it's SEC media time. It's talking season, and we've had some theater of the absurd talk today. We'll get to that in a little bit, but today has been a lot of conversation about the teams that are represented today.
Yeah.
That includes LSU, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt. All those teams had really good years last year.
Really good years last year, and I think high expectations going into this season. I think they're all a little different.
Bingo.
But
Perfect. So all wanting a lot. In a league, it just means more.
That's exactly right.
All 4 of these teams that we will talk about from now until 6 o'clock tonight all want more out of this year.
Yeah, and it's 4 really interesting teams. Look, you've got LSU that brings back a veteran in Garrett Nussmeier, who was really good last year. They're hoping that he can improve. A great transfer portal class, good recruiting class coming in at LSU. Vanderbilt bringing back Diego Pavia and what this team can do. Can they go to back-to-back bowl games? Obviously, Ole Miss making a change. The one team that's making a change, that's because Lenore Sellers back at South Carolina. But obviously, a lot of good talk about what this offense could look like for Ole Miss with a new quarterback in Austin Simmons. So, 4, I think, really intriguing teams going into the season.
And every one of them wanting more from last year, and now in this playoff-driven world, a lot of playoff talk centered around all these teams. Today, early in the day, the conversation about some interest about Coach Nick Saban maybe getting back into college football coaching. We'll talk about it more as the day goes on, but even as this day went on, that was dampened down from the initial kind of shock early in the day. Look, at SEC Media Days, nothing's ever going to top Texas and Oklahoma joining the league.
Chance.
That was a thunderbolt. Probably second was Philip Fulmer literally being deposed at our desk. I was in the morning with George, and the server literally came up while we were interviewing Coach Fulmer, and it was really goofy, kind of what he said. It was almost sing-song, like somebody had paid like for a birthday celebration. Hi, I'm so-and-so and so-and-so, and you've officially been served. And he had. And so those things aren't going to top it. So just the mention of Nick Saban sent a little shockwaves through the assembled media, but that was dampened pretty quickly.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. It was kind of one of those things where, I know there's a lot of talk about it at SEC Media Days, but even, across social media, just around the country in terms of college football media, that was a big story earlier this morning. I know a lot of people I know were talking about today of, is he going to get back in it? Is this actually going to happen? And you're right. It's kind of slowed down a little bit as the day has gone on. But when you hear something like that, when that's put out there, it becomes big story of, is this true? Is this going to happen? Is Nick Saban going to return to coaching? But it does not look like he will be returning to the sidelines as a head coach anytime soon.
It really speaks to, Bryant, I'm going to go we here since I am a lifetime dues paid up bootlicker of the SEC. Can we move on from Nick Saban? Have we moved on from Nick Saban? Are we still longing for Nick Saban?
Well, I don't. I think it's different because I think there are a lot of people outside of the SEC and outside of this area that aren't longing for him to return or hard to get over him. It's more of like, oh man, he was a pain in our rear end. I don't want him to come back and coach anybody. But I think that's a sentiment around college football of how great Nick Saban was as a coach, what he did for the sport, of just that idea of him coming back to coaching. It becomes front page headlines, everyone's talking about it. It becomes the biggest story in all of sports of could he come back? And I think that speaks a lot to the coach he was and the coach he is.
it got the chattering class
Definitely
going
did.
strong for a little while today. But
Oh, yeah.
there are other stories here. I had, last Friday when we had Chris Gordy on, he playfully was needling me that I covered Arch Manning's grandfather.
Right.
No, I did not. But he did turn me into a college football fan on October 4th, 1969, when Ole Miss and Alabama played on national TV. I knew that night. I loved the redhead from Drew, and I loved the guy in the houndstooth hat on the sideline for Alabama. And it stuck from then on. And you mentioned how busy we are with 4 teams a day. Bryant, now looking back on it, boy, we just had a 12-team league. don't tell the bosses at WHPQ. SEC Media Days was really easy.
We were just hanging out most of the time. I mean, it was 12 teams. Are you kidding me?
Well, had a golf outing a lot of those years. I mean, the idea.
Man.
If Robert Tyre Jones came back from the dead and invited us all to East Lake, I don't have time to go play golf today.
No, certainly
or
not.
any time this
Certainly
week.
not. I will say, though, it with 16 teams, it does make all these days line up really nicely, really, they're very symmetric. It's kind of nice to look at instead of the, 4 one day, 4 3 days, and 3 the next day, or, however they used to be lined up, 3 3 3 4, whatever it was. This with 4 4 4 4, it's a lot. But it makes it line up, at least visually, a lot better than it did. But you're right. It makes it very busy, and it's a lot to listen to. It's a lot to hear from, a lot of teams coming through, and it's going to be a really fun week.
And speaking of that symmetrical lineup, I wonder if tomorrow, the South's oldest rivalry will be Auburn and Georgia here tomorrow. That is a great game. That's a game that we very well could lose if and when we go to 9 much discussed. Also tomorrow, both UTs.
That's right.
Both different shades of orange.
Yes. Who is the real UT? Maybe we can settle that tomorrow. I don't think we're settling anything tomorrow about who the real UT is. But I'd like it if we did. But no, I mean, I talked about how today's really interesting and 4 really good teams. But the truth is that's going to be every day this week at SEC Media Days. All of these teams have interesting seasons coming up, storylines galore for a lot of these teams, and it's going to be fun talking to a lot of people about all these teams. And as we get closer, I loved hearing Greg Sankey this morning kind of saying, hey, this is our kind of start to the year. This is the start of football, and it really feels like that, kind of getting the season going.
And the sport of college football with a lot of unanswered questions. I said this morning with Greg and Eli when I joined them this morning on their show, we're really kind of doing this as it goes along in college football. It's not a lot of, real hardcore future planning. I don't think that's good for anything not to have plans made. I know we probably don't have 30-year mortgages anymore in college sports with how ever-changing things are, but I think you have to have at least a broad outline of things. And later in the week when we visit with the commissioner of the SEC, Greg Sankey, yes, I'm going to ask a basketball question. We know that basketball is going to go one more game next year to 32. There's still a conversation that next spring, 26, March Madness being more than 68 teams. And I don't know really who has appetite for that other than the administrators and the yen to make more money.
Of course, that's at the end of the day, that's exactly what it's all about. It's all about getting more money. But you're right. I mean, it feels like as a sport as a whole, as a college athletics as a whole, certainly as a conference of the SEC, there's a lot of questions still there of what will the future be? What will the future look like? What will this conference look like in terms of scheduling? How many games? What will the playoffs look like? There's a lot unanswered, and when you kind of look at this of wanting answers in the next couple of years, it feels like a lot of uncertainty, not just in the SEC, but kind of around the sport as a whole.
And we always talk about when they get to the field, when we get to games, when we get to the fall, when we get to the courts, when we get to basketball, when we get to January, February conference games, we get to March Madness, it always magically fixes itself. What if, Brian, what if we pushed it too far and getting to the field didn't fix it? That's why I think the poobahs of college sports need to have some hard and fast decisions made over these next few months. I am live from the College Football Hall of Fame in downtown Atlanta. Our SEC Media Day sponsors, Landers Ford in Collierville, the official vehicle of SEC Media Days, Jason's Deli, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jim's Place in Collierville, East Memphis, Ace Hardware, Gould Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grisani's in Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet, our friends down in Olive Branch, Jimmy McElroy and Associates, and First National Bank and Trust, and they will be with us at FedEx St. Jude Championship time. They will be with us in the fall for Friday football forecast like they have been for so many years. With its roots in Eastern Arkansas as a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, they're now firmly in West Tennessee. Eastern Arkansas's largest independently owned bank, now in West Tennessee, with offices at Ridge Lake Boulevard and in Collierville. First National Bank and Trust, they focus on their clients in the Mid-South for all their banking needs, personal banking, business banking, online banking, and the mobile app. I have the mobile app on my phone, and it is a great resource. Courage and confidence has been displayed by First National Bank and Trust, their officers throughout its history in good times and in challenging times. First National Bank and Trust, they've been recognized as one of the most progressive banking institutions in the country, with friends that you can rely on and go to and see. My friend Bryce Fletcher and Brooks Winchester and so many others. Bill Samish, so many others that you can go and see. Customers depend on First National Bank and Trust because they know real estate, they know their customers, and they will help you. Contact Brooks Winchester in the Memphis office or any member of the First National Bank and Trust team.
Well, Brett, 4 teams today. We already talked about them a little bit. LSU, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss. Who has the best year out of these 4?
Well, I've got my log jam at 9-3.
Yeah, that's true.
And that hadn't changed. I might before we officially do W's and L's, but I might not. And right now I only have 1 10-2. That's Georgia. That could be any of it. It could be Ole Miss. It could be LSU. It could be South Carolina. It could be Bama. It could be any of those 9-3s. Those 9-3s, I have 10 of them. That's doomsday scenario for this league come playoff bid time.
Yeah, that would be worst case scenario. I mean, maybe worse than the worst case scenario.
What about this scenario? So let's say I'm right, 100% right, which never happens. So Georgia's 10-2. You have those 10 9-3s. Well, I'm not going to sort out the tiebreaker, but one of those 9-3s plays here in Atlanta, not far from where I am at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, first Saturday in December. They get waxed that day. The 10-2 beats the 9-3, 45-10.
Oh, jeez.
You're talking a 1-bid league.
Oh, man. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, that
1-bid league.
Doesn't sound fun at all. I actually think it'd be great radio, Brett. The rest of the show, let's scrap everything we had today, and you just spend the next 3 hours trying to give us the breakdown of the tiebreaker of your 10, 9-3 teams. I think that would be
way too many Coca-Colas and way too early this morning for us to suspend the rest of the show and me explain the SEC tiebreakers.
I think it'd be impressive if we could do it. I don't know if I could even wrap my head around what that tiebreaker would look like if 10 teams are 9-3.
I think we could read from the want ads and entertain people more than going through the tiebreakers. And remember, last year we didn't even have any for a while.
No.
That's how on the fly college football's kind of become.
Sure is.
They didn't have a 3-team tiebreaker last year for a long time.
That is true. We are kind of in this weird world of being on the fly with college athletics, and it is a little strange. I just
don't think that's healthy.
No, it's definitely not. It's not healthy at all. But hey, I guess that's where we are right now, and we have to do it. One of my favorite things that I saw today from the coaches speaking at SEC Media Days is you gotta love it, and it's almost becoming a tradition. But Clark Lee, we believe we have what it takes to play into January. Love it. Was it last year or 2 years ago when he said we're winning national championships?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. I love it. I love it. Hey,
he has to believe that, doesn't he?
He's got to. You're the head coach. You have to believe that. If you don't believe it, who's going to believe it?
How are you going to walk out there August 1, first day of hot August camp, and ask guys to lay it on the line if you don't believe
you
that.
can't. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that take that quote and go, Vanderbilt, you're never going to make it into January. But I love it. I really do. I mean, you see the intensity.
Who thought Indiana would?
That's a great question. Hey, who thought Vanderbilt was going to do what they did last year? I mean, the intensity that Clark Lee brings, that kind of belief.
5 years ago, who thought Ole Miss would be talked about like they are?
That's a great point. And so I love it. I think he's an awesome coach.
Brian,
and I
10
love
years
listening to him
ago,
today.
15 years ago, who thought we would speak so glowingly of Memphis Tigers football?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good one. So you never know, and I just love the way that he coaches and bringing a lot back. We're going to talk to Kevin Ingram a little bit later in this hour about Vanderbilt, but they have the makings to do what they did last year. Again, we could be talking about back-to-back bowl seasons for Vanderbilt, which would be awesome.
It's almost like Virginia Tech and Notre Dame quasi joined the league this year, didn't it?
It did. I mean,
Virginia Tech, they opened against South Carolina here in Atlanta, and they also play week 2 against Vanderbilt. Notre Dame plays week 3 against Texas A&M, and then they go to Fayetteville.
Yeah, so just go ahead and add them to the league. One of those is would be a huge get for the SEC to add them to the league. But no, they are
to get to
all
20. I'd take either one of them.
Absolutely. Oh, I
think
don't
Notre Dame
there's
gets
any doubt.
17.
Yeah, you take next time you're expanding, you take Notre Dame if they want to join.
But some conversation about to get to 20. North Carolina State, and UVA and Virginia Tech. But that's down the road. There's very little expansion conversation. Don't let me visit with Greg Sankey without asking him about it, because the one time I didn't was the year that they did the next day, and that was on me. George told me always ask about expansion because it's really always in play.
It's always there, so we will definitely make sure we ask the commissioner about that later this week. But yeah, Vanderbilt could be the first time they go to back-to-back bowl games since 2012-2013, so that would be huge.
That's Bobby Johnson years.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that will be a lot of fun. We got a super busy show today, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Hannah Barton from STL Sports Central. She covers South Carolina for STL Sports Central. We will talk the Gamecocks with her. Obviously, Lenora Sellers, we've talked about him a ton. One of the bigger names in college football this offseason with what he did down the stretch last season. We'll talk a lot of Gamecocks with Hannah Barton in our next segment at 3:30. 3:45, Kevin Ingram from the Vandy Radio Network will join us. We'll talk the Commodores. Talk about if they can get bowl eligible back-to-back years this season. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports. He'll join us. We'll talk a ton of college football, a ton of SEC with him. He covers college football and college basketball over at CBS Sports. At 4:30, Matt Moscona from ESPN Baton Rouge will join us to talk LSU. Brian Kelly, he was the first coach to talk earlier this morning as he starts year 4. We know those coaches before him, they all have a national championship. Can Brian Kelly get one as well? Big season for LSU coming up. We'll talk with Matt Moscona at 4:30 about LSU. 4:45, we get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Brad Logan from On 3 and Ole Miss Spirit. He'll join us. We'll talk the Rebels at 5 o'clock with Brad Logan. 5:30, we'll do something fun. Obviously, not the only thing in Atlanta this week. SEC Media Days. Also, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game kicks off tomorrow night. Home Run Derby later tonight, but we'll kick it back. We'll compare the All-Star Game lineups today to some from the past. We'll do that at 5:30, looking back at some of those rosters, how they compare to tomorrow night's rosters. And then at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's Crunch Time. Well, let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Help them clear out their warehouse, and because right now all in-stock furniture are up to 60% off. 4-piece deep seating set, only $999 in Chase Lounges. Buy one, get one half off. All Polywood furniture, 20 to 30% off. And right now, with the purchase of a dining room table, get a free umbrella and special financing. It's available, but only at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian, I'm Brett, and our producer is Landon Schmidt, and we're Sports Time. We're with you until 6 o'clock, and we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling the Sissy's Log Cabin text or talk line at 901-360-8255. We're always, wherever we are, we're in our Family Leisure Studio mobile on the road in Atlanta this week. We're always from our Family Leisure Studio, and this hour always brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury and safe driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be SEC Media Days kicking off today in Atlanta at the College Football Hall of Fame. We've already talked about the 4 teams that went today: LSU, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt. 4 really interesting teams, and 3 of those teams returned their starting quarterback from last year. Obviously, high expectation and high hopes from LSU to get into that college football playoffs and make some noise in the postseason. Ole Miss and South Carolina, those were 2 teams that were right on the outside last year of the college football playoffs. We know one of those teams will bring back their starting quarterback in Lenora Sellers. The other will be replacing their starting quarterback. Jackson Dart now with the New York Giants, but in walks in Austin Simmons. Looked really good every time we saw him in action last year. What can he do as the starting quarterback for the Rebels? Then that final team, Vanderbilt, with their starting quarterback coming back, Diego Pavia, getting that waiver to play an additional season. Will be fun. Obviously, it was one of the funnest stories in all of college football last year. What can he do in year 2? They brought back a lot from that offense. That could be a fun offense. Now, the difference will be is they're not surprising anybody. They're not going to play Alabama and surprise Alabama or any of those teams that they beat last year. Everyone's going to know what's coming.
Even Virginia Tech.
Even Virginia Tech. Yeah, that was another big win for them. Nobody's going to be surprised when they see Diego Pavia step on the field, and that's going to be something that they're going to have to adjust. But I do think going to be a fun team again this year. I think all 4 of these teams, super intriguing, could have really, really fun seasons. So a good way to start off SEC Media Days down in Atlanta.
My top story was really blazing hot for about 45 minutes earlier today. It was when it broke from his first national championship quarterback, his only undefeated national championship quarterback, when Greg McElroy speaks about Coach Nick Saban. Well, people listen, and people did, but it's not going to happen. Nick Saban's not returning to college football or to the NFL. Very happy broadcasting. Not here this year. Last year, everywhere. Omnipresent last year in Dallas. That was starting his ESPN run, and going to Dallas. I think they want him there. He's at the lake this week, I'm told. Not here. Will be on game day and will not be on a sideline coaching this football season or any other football season. The greatest of all time has retired.
Yeah, but hey, that was the biggest news earlier today to get SEC Media Day started.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, I'm going to keep it pretty short, but I got to give a shout out because last night we had the first 3 rounds of the Major League Baseball draft. In the first round, the Cardinals went out and took pitcher Liam Doyle from Tennessee, but with their second pick, selected 55th overall, Cardinals came down to Memphis, took a local guy here, Ryan Mitchell, who just got done at Houston High School. He was the selection at number 55 to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Of
Johnny Radio, Bryant Dacus, Landon Schmidt. There's others, but I think those are the biggest.
Go Mustangs.
I think those 3 are the biggest, and now we can add Ryan Mitchell to that. But really cool to see Ryan Mitchell from Houston High School getting drafted by any team, but certainly by our team, the St. Louis Cardinals. He's a Georgia Tech commit. We'll see what that decision looks like for him, but really cool to see a local guy get drafted that high and get drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals.
Can any of those guys pitch this year, and I don't have to see Fetty or Michaels pitch anymore?
I don't think
Is
so.
that a little too much to ask?
I think Liam Doyle might be the one, but I think that's still maybe a little too much to ask.
Little seasoning, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe next year, but this year might be too much.
You touched on it. Not only was today quarterback day, today was proven head coach day.
Yeah.
Look what Clark Lee's done.
Mm-hmm.
Look what Shane Beamer's done. Look what Lane Kiffin's done. Look what Brian Kelly's done.
Absolutely.
And look what they all could do in 3 of the 4 with proven quarterbacks. For Austin Simmons, hey, no pressure at all. You just got to follow Matt Corral and Jackson Dart.
Yeah. Get out there.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Go get
out there. Go get him. Oh, man.
But he's got a good coach and a good offensive coordinator with Charlie Weiss to do it.
Yeah, no, he absolutely
And head
does.
coach Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, no, and he looked really good when we saw him last year. All the reporting that I've read makes it sound like he's had a great offseason as he gets ready to start for the Ole Miss Rebels. Well, I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. I want to remind you about all of our great sponsors that are making this possible this week. Brett, live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta at SEC Media Days. Got to thank Landers Ford in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place in Collierville, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Gould's Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grisani's in Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates. Thank you all so much for making this week possible, getting us down to Atlanta for SEC Media Days. But we need to get to our first break, and when we come back, we're going to talk the South Carolina Gamecocks. Hannah Barton from STL Sports Central, where she covers South Carolina. She'll join us next. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
When life crashes into you, literally, NST Law doesn't just show up with a briefcase. They show up with heart. They sit with families after devastating wrecks, look them in the eye, and say, "We've got you." No scripts, no legal jargon, just real people fighting for real justice. If someone turned your life upside down, NST helps you stand back up. They've been doing this for over 35 years and have won billions for their clients. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go to nstlaw.com.
It's time for SEC Media Days. Join Brett Wordsworthy as he broadcasts live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Monday through Thursday, previewing the upcoming SEC football season and bringing you interviews with players, coaches, and SEC leaders. Tune in to Sports Time with Stats and Brian Dacus from 3 to 6, and also hear from Stats throughout the day for SEC Media Days coverage. Brought to you by First National Bank and Trust, Jason's Deli, Gould's Salon and Spa, Jim's Place Grill, and East Memphis Ace Hardware.
All 650 acquisition fee, 20 cents per mile excess mileage, must finance through KFA, K4 is SEO 39747, MSRP 25840, Telluride SG 673 3650, MSRP 41155, K5 MSRP 30415, EV9 TG 0066993, MSRP 59775, includes all rebates and incentives, excludes TTNL with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 8225.
Got my man Jeff Allen on the line. Hey, Jeff, things heating up over there on Mount Moriah?
We got the hottest deals in town at Gossett Kia South, Mount Moriah, Randy. Listen to this. Get a new ride for $185 per month in a 2025 Kia K4 EX 39 MPG Highway. 2025 Kia K5 GT line, $288 a month.
And the vacation-ready 2025 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive, $325 a month.
Yep, all $49.99 due at signing, 24 monthly.
And rates at 1.9 available, plus 2026 EV9 Lite rear-wheel drive, $419 a month, plus the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
That's right, Randy. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
1 out of 4 parents can't afford to buy school supplies for their children to go back to school. Teachers have to pay out of pocket for needed materials for their classrooms. please help us and U-Haul help our children by dropping off essential school supplies for this school year. Meet us Friday, July 25th at Kroger at 3444 Plaza Avenue from 6 to 10 a.m. At Kroger at 3685 Houston Levy from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And at Kroger at 676 Germantown Parkway from 3 to 6 p.m. Help us stuff the bus.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting to build certain sections of the Midtown area. It's also picked up over here in the last 10-15 minutes on 40 East from Hollywood all the way over to White Station. As you work your way south of Memphis right now, in pretty good shape for the most part. A little bit of radar down through there earlier south of Memphis on 55 through certain parts of DeSoto County. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions here in Memphis says give us a call this summer. We'll make your yard look beautiful. Lawn Solutions, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
We're back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we're down in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. Joining us now to talk South Carolina, Hannah Barton from STL Sports Central. Hannah, thanks so much for joining us. A lot of excitement around South Carolina this offseason and around that quarterback. Lenoris Sellers, maybe one of the most talked about college football players this offseason. You look at the second half of this season, was really, really good. What do you make of him as a quarterback coming back for the South Carolina team? And for you, what is kind of the biggest thing of improvement for Lenoris Sellers going into this season?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's so much fun down here in Atlanta. So great to hear from Beamer today and obviously all the players. But yes, Lenoris Sellers is the big talking point of this South Carolina team, and rightfully so. You know, coming in last year as that redshirt freshman, following up Spencer Rattler 2 seasons at South Carolina. So some solid expectations, wondering how he would perform. And I think one of the biggest things, like you talked about, is what you saw the second half of the season from him. Not just being able to run the offense, but also just making better decisions. And that's something you're going to continue to see develop. And that's what Shane Beamer talked about as well. Because if you haven't seen Lenoris Sellers play, he's a pretty athletic quarterback. He can run. He's really, really good at escaping those tackles. I mean, you go back and watch some of his tape, and it's like you think it's a magician out there kind of getting him out of that. And so I think being able to see him make those decisions and not maybe automatically fall back on his ability to keep things alive is what you're going to want to see from him. And obviously a leader. Anyone who maybe saw him when he first came in, he's not the most outspoken guy. He's, soft-spoken but very, very just the maturity that you've seen from him from coming in to now obviously having that year to learn under Rattler. And I think, again, just being able to see him continue to lead this offense. Thankfully for him, he's not losing too much on the offensive end. Obviously, the running back game is going to be something that they're trying to figure out. But the biggest thing for South Carolina, I think, is the defense. I mean, their defense was dominant, especially as you were seeing Sellers kind of come into his own. They relied on that defense heavily, especially the first half of the season, one of the best defenses in the country, and they lost a lot, especially on that line between Tonka Hemingway, Demetrius Knight, TJ Sanders, Boogie Huntley, and then, of course, in the secondary, Nicky Minwari. So definitely a lot to come up with on the defensive end, but Beamer seemed pretty confident in the guys that he has that have developed. Nick Barrett, one of them here today, that actually redshirted last year so that he could come back and kind of fill some of those gaps this year as his 5th year. So,
Hannah, what's the home game that you think most Gamecocks fans have circled to really make Williams-Brice even more electric? At home this season, you have Vanderbilt, SEC, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Alabama, and then end of the year, non-SEC, Clemson. What's the one circled?
Well, Clemson's always going to be that one. I mean, coming off you had a big win at home at Clemson in 22, or I'm sorry, at Clemson in 22, that loss at home in 23, but then getting back that win at Clemson. I think Gamecock fans are ready for that win at home over Clemson. I mean, it's a rivalry. Someone that's experienced myself, a little bit biased, it's a great rivalry, and I think they're going to want to see that. That's a big one circled. And then the Alabama one for sure. That's another one where they
Magic of 2010 come back?
I sure hope so. I mean, they were so close last year at Alabama, and I think, fans are hungry to see them at any of those games that were those close losses like we saw last year.
Last year, you could really describe South Carolina the whole year. Really good, but so close. The field flipping loss to LSU really shoulda, coulda. At Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium, shoulda, coulda. That's firmly in the playoffs if either of those happen.
Absolutely. And Beamer made a great point when he was talking earlier today, because people do keep bringing that up. But then he talks about the close wins that they also had. Old Dominion to start out the season. As a Gamecock fan, you sat there watching that Old Dominion
White
game.
knuckler.
And
Scary.
you thought, oh my goodness, what have we gotten
This can't
ourselves
happen.
into?
Yeah.
And then, they go on to have the season that they have, the win over Mizzou, obviously. So just as they had those close losses, they had those close wins. So I think just more decisive wins, more solid wins is going to help lower the heart rate of all Gamecock fans.
You are a letter winner in South Carolina sports. You were on the swim team.
Yes, I was. I had the privilege of representing the Gamecocks for 4 years, graduated a couple of years ago. So loved my experience as a student athlete there, and I think that's why I also really want to see this athletic department with all the work they've put in since Beamer's come in. I remember the Muschamp transition out, Beamer transition in, and being able to see that develop has been really awesome.
And some of our listeners may be wondering why somebody with STL Sports Central covering South Carolina. Our buddy Dave Green, that was in Memphis at WHBQ for a long time, he has launched another great sports site in STL Sports Central.
That's right. We're launched. We have STL Sports Central, and now we're, not stopping there, trying to branch off into the SEC. So obviously, as someone based out of Columbia, South Carolina, the Gamecocks are my wheelhouse, but we're talking all things SEC over there. So super excited to see what comes from that.
That's awesome. Hannah, I wanted to ask another thing about this South Carolina offense before we run out of time. I know Coach Beamer talked about it a little bit today, but transfer running back Rasan Faison still waiting on his waiver from the NCAA. What is the latest on that, and what will this running back room look like after Rocket Sanders left?
Absolutely. Well, as of a couple days ago, we thought we were going to have a decision. That was kind of the rumor going around on Twitter and on social media, is that the NCAA was going to have that final decision. We didn't get it. We get a tweet saying, keep thinking about it, keep setting the good thoughts, good vibes. But, I think obviously Rocket Sanders, big shoes to fill, but even if that waiver doesn't clear, you've got Attaway, who I think showed some really great potential, especially when it comes to being able to maneuver out of the line and after contact. That's one thing that both running backs and Lenora Sellers did a great job with last season, is being able to gain those yards after contact. And so I think that's something that, regardless of who fills those shoes, they're going to have to be able to keep doing.
And you mentioned the great rivalry between Clemson and South Carolina. Very small state, but football's king. Friday night's king.
Yes,
a lot
it
of
is.
Everybody recruits South Carolina. Beating Dabo really special.
Oh yes, yeah, pretty special. I had the privilege of being at that game this past season. Got to go on the field in Death Valley after that happened, and it doesn't really get any better than that.
How many pictures of the scoreboard you have?
So many.
Just kept taking them.
In fact, after the 2022 game, we went to a concert down in Greenville. Some of my friends, when I was still in college, and it was a couple weeks after the game, we ran around that concert with the score on our phones on our forehead. So all those Clemson fans up there in Greenville knew that we got the win that year.
Last thing for our guest, Hannah Barton. She covers South Carolina for STL Sports Central, and we're going to catch up with you a bunch during the fall. But Hannah, for South Carolina, they open against the ACC, against Virginia Tech here in Atlanta, and they close in the game we talked a lot about with Clemson. A 2-0, just a win on opening day, win on the last day of the year. It feels like if you do that, the other 10 take care of themselves.
Absolutely, especially when you're talking about the strength of schedule and being in the SEC. A lot of those close games like last year were SEC games, and with the recent adjustment the College Football Playoff Committee made, it's anybody's game in the SEC. But if you guarantee that win over Virginia Tech and you guarantee that win over Clemson, you've got a pretty good sandwich there that you could probably make for a good playoff run.
Yeah, absolutely can. Hannah, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll definitely have to do this again soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah. Hannah Barton from STL Sports Central covering South Carolina. Really fun catching up with her and talking about this South Carolina team. They were right outside of that top 12 for the college football playoffs last year. You look around, we talked about it a little bit, and we've talked about it going into SEC Media Days, but you look at all of the turnaround with quarterbacks. Bringing in Lenore Sellers, they're certainly hoping they can still be around and maybe in that top 12 of the college football playoffs. So we've talked a lot about our great sponsors that are making this week happen with us down in Atlanta covering SEC Media Days, and one of those are the great people over at Ronnie Grizzani's in Regalia. It is the first name in Memphis Italian food. Stop in as early as lunch and get the Italian favorites like the crisp cold Miss Mary salad, lobster tower, fried green tomatoes, the crab stack, Monday through Thursday, Saturdays for lunch as well. Ronnie Grizzani's also offers catering. Check out the lunch catering guide at ronniegrizzani's.com. Get the Elfo special salad and Italian bread, only $14 per person. Ronnie Grizzani's, they'll even bring it to you. Give them a call, 901-850-0191. That's 901-850-0191. Pick up a pan of lasagna at Ronnie Grizzani's at Regalia, or check out the bulk menu at ronniegrizzani's.com. Get your favorites at home like the chicken Alfredo, ravioli, Italian spinach, curbside pickup, delivery to your door. That's available with free within 4 miles of Regalia. And don't forget about the bar, especially with this heat. Stay cool with a cocktail list and one of their steaks. Get the 8-ounce gorgonzola and bacon wrapped filet. Try it and thank me later. You can also find them at High Point Grocery, Super Low on Spotswood and Goodman Road, and Buster's Liquors. Make lunch or dinner easy at Ronnie Grizzani's, a Memphis tradition since 1909. Well, we need to get to another break. When we return, we'll switch gears, talk a little Vandy football. Obviously, a big season last year. Can they do it again this year? Kevin Ingram from the Vanderbilt Radio Network. He joins us next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Marshall Steakhouse is a feast for the eyes as well as the body. Enjoy all American USDA prime steaks, aged 30 days or more, and other delicious meats and sides. Marshall Steakhouse in Holly Springs, named the #1 steakhouse in Mississippi by the Food Network, and named in the top 2 most legendary steakhouses in the South by Southern Living Magazine. Make reservations today and get free bread pudding by calling 662-252-2424 or online at marshallsteakhouse.com. Marshall Steakhouse in Holly Springs, a Southern treat.
Hey everybody, summertime fun and the best road trips begin right here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Zero interest on all new Silverado 1500s, and nobody has more new Silverados than All-Star Chevy. Or go big in on a new Silverado HD. Interest as low as 4.9 and no payments for 90 days. Your good credit deserves it, so take advantage of it. And Equinoxes are flying off the lot as All-Star celebrates our nation's birth. All these new Equinoxes here on the lot in Olive Branch are selling just 100 over invoice. Come pick out your Equinox, see the invoice, add only 100 for a great deal in July. And check out all these certified pre-owned vehicles. Unbelievable deals from our friends in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. Tahoes, Silverados, Traverse, Equinoxes. You got to test drive this Corvette Stingray. It's awesome. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch and get the most money for it now. So let's go. Together, let's drive to Olive Branch and All-Star Chevrolet, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how info is protected, there are lots of places that also have it, and they might not be as careful as you are. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock US-based restoration specialist will help solve identity theft issues on your behalf, guaranteed, or your money back. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by a $1 million protection package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. You might not be able to control how others handle your personal information, but you can help protect it with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with the promo code HERD, H-E-R-D. Just call 1-800-LifeLock or go to LifeLock.com and use the promo code HERD, H-E-R-D, for 40% off. Terms apply.
It's time for all fun-loving drivers to unite and take a test drive in your new Volkswagen from Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. Unleash the coolest drive of your life in 2025 Jetta Sport or 2025 Taos S. Take your pick, $349 a month. 2025 Atlas SE, $399 a month. Or take a ride on the wild side in 2024 Atlas Peak Edition or 2024 GTI SE or 2024 Atlas Cross Sport SELR line, $5,000 off MSRP. Plus 2.9 for 60 months when 2025 Atlas is available. So get to Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike, online, GossettVWMemphis.com, where we're charging forward and charging less every day. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Volkswagen. 7,500 miles per year, 25 cents excess mileage. Jetta SMO 77145, MSRP 25916. Taos SMO 77145, MSRP 27011. Atlas SC 523770, MSRP 40741. PCAR C 586577, MSRP 53889. GTI RW 21791, MSRP 39523. R-Line RC 226135. Include all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Volkswagen Credit. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8225.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We're at SEC Media Days in Atlanta, and we got to talk Vanderbilt football. Kevin Ingram from the Vandy Radio Network joins us now. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, last year, such a big season. One of the stories, not just in the conference, but in all of college football, was what Vanderbilt did. The basketball team went out there, had a really good year. The baseball team, a top seed, unfortunately knocked out in regional play. It was a really good year for Vanderbilt athletics. What is the feeling like around Nashville when you talk about the athletic scene at Vanderbilt right now?
Yeah, Brian, there is a lot of buzz and a lot of excitement. We had a terrific year last year, as you described. Football, both our basketball programs made the NCAA tournament. Our women's team has been on the climb under Shea Ralph for the last couple of years. I mentioned baseball. Terrific season overall in the SEC, won the SEC tournament. Even when you look at some of our other programs, our soccer program made it to the Sweet 16 for the first time, knocked off the defending national champion along the way, golf, tennis, all those programs. We've really had a lot of fun here in the last few months, but now it resets and you crank it all up one more time.
Got to do it again, copy and paste.
Yeah.
And look, Kevin, I know the feeling some of the years coming here with Ole Miss, it's like, oh no, SEC Media Days. Not after last year. Let's get to SEC Media Days, and let me tell you about beating Bama.
Yeah, it was quite a season last year. There's no question about it. And that was really the signature win, not only last season, but for a whole lot of seasons to win that game against number one and a program that's been the standard for college football for as long as Alabama has. But for Vanderbilt, it was more than that, though. I mean, it was winning more in the SEC, including a couple of huge road wins at Auburn, at Kentucky along the way, and having a chance to get to a bowl game and win that against Georgia Tech in Birmingham. It was really a special season to finish 7-6, finish with a winning record. Just a lot of excitement around the program.
Did y'all count Tech as a SEC league win since they used to be?
Right. They're an old school SEC opponent, and that was the first time Vanderbilt had beaten Georgia Tech in many years. And they have this cowbell trophy. It's just like, regular little shiny cowbell. And Vanderbilt was able to recapture that for the first time in decades. So it's displayed proudly alongside the bowl trophy for Birmingham.
Diego Pavia last year, 20 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. How does he top that?
It's going to be hard to do because last season was really a magical season for Diego. But I think if anybody can do it, he probably can. I mean, you look at his numbers last year, 20 touchdowns passing, another 8 touchdowns rushing. He's just such an exciting and dynamic player. But I think more than his ability, it's his attitude. It just rubs off on everybody. And
leader.
Leader, confidence, all those things. Winner. Wherever he's been, he's made it happen, whether it was out in New Mexico or on West End at Vanderbilt. I think everybody was thrilled.
Hugh Freeze's worst nightmare.
He is Hugh Freeze's worst nightmare. That's true, because he went to Auburn with New Mexico State and won 2 seasons ago, and then went to Auburn again with Vanderbilt and won last season. But, Diego, you talk about the offense, it all starts in number 2.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, can you give us a little, not really behind the scenes, but take us back to that decision by Diego Pavia to go out there and try to get an additional year and have that lawsuit and kind of everything that went around? Because we all thought this was going to be 1 year of Diego Pavia, fun season, but that was that. Now we're getting him year 2. Talk to us about kind of what happened through that process when you learned that, hey, this is something he's going to try to do, and then once that news was public and came out to all of us, and we were all going, okay, we're getting year 2 of Diego Pavia.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It was great news for Vanderbilt that he was able to come back for another season. I won't pretend to know the legal happenings and how it all went down, but I think when he decided to pursue this, he actually was trying to get 2 seasons, and you're thinking, okay, 2 seasons would be fantastic, but if you can get 1, that would be great too. So it worked out well, and he was able to get another year of eligibility. And I think a lot of other players, not only in football but in other sports, are looking at that decision and saying, okay, can I get some extra eligibility based on what happened in the past for me? But for Diego, I think we all sort of were very interested to see how it would shake out and what the decision would be and how it would impact things. And when it was decided that he could come back and play again, I think everybody, the excitement over this upcoming 25 season for Vanderbilt football grew even more with Diego coming back.
And it's not just Diego Pavia. I know Diego Pavia is kind of what we're all talking about, but this offense returns a lot of guys from last season. I mean, you can go down and really all the skill positions are coming back from last year. An offense that was really good, really fun to watch. We're going to get another year of that. How good can this offense be in year 2 of all these guys being around each other?
Yeah, I think it can be good, and they've revamped a couple spots in the offensive line, and you're going to have some pieces to replace as always, but when you got a tight end like Eli Stowers, who's a first-team all-conference performer and all-American type player, and had the season that he did catching the football, he's like a receiver tight end all rolled into one. He's a fantastic athlete and made so many big plays last season. You got a guy like Junior Sherrill who's been around the program for a couple seasons. You look at the running back, Cedric Alexander. He's a veteran on this team. You've added a couple guys there, but you got some veteran presence. So I think there's a lot to be excited about with this offense. You find that balance of running and passing, but the offense that Tim Beck runs just works so well, and with Diego's skill set and the things that he can do, and I think with those pieces they have coming back, it really gives you a lot of optimism going into this season.
Charleston Southern on opening day, and then back-to-back at Blacksburg against the Hokies and in Columbia against the Gamecocks.
Yeah, that's a tough little start, isn't it? You don't want to overlook Charleston Southern, but that's what you start your season with. But, man, those are tough road games early on. And, Virginia Tech is going to be wanting a measure of revenge after they came to Vanderbilt to open up the season last year. And you talk about wins that set this team and that last year's team and just this program in general set it on a positive path. To be able to win that game against Virginia Tech and weather a storm like they did and win it in overtime, it felt like that really set the stage for success for last season. That's going to be a top road game. Vanderbilt has really had its struggles with South Carolina over the last few years, and I've seen Shane Beamer walking around here today, and it's like, hey, man, take it easy on us. It's been tough against the Gamecocks for almost 2 decades, so we feel like we owe those guys. But Columbia is always a tough place to play.
Absolutely. Last thing for our friend Kevin Ingram, we've talked a lot about the offense, but the defense also returns a lot of pieces from last year's team, a defense that was really good. What do you expect to see from this defense this season?
Well, it's going to be a little bit interesting to see if anything really changes with the coordinator situation changing. Clark Lee was the defensive coordinator last season. He went back to being head coach full-time this year, but he's still going to have his fingerprints on this defense. Steve Gregory is the defensive coordinator, Nick Lazinski as well. And in talking to Randon Fontenette and Martell Hyde, who are both here as part of Vanderbilt's contention in Atlanta at Media Days, they said really nothing's changed in terms of the scheme, the terminology, all of those things, that all that's the same. I love those two guys. Fontenette plays at a hybrid star position. Martell Hyde's cornerback. Also, we may see him some at receiver. He's been an all-conference type kick returner. The group I really like for this team is the linebacker group. The veterans like Langston Patterson, the senior, and Brian Longwell, the junior. Both those guys are Nashville guys. Playing for Vanderbilt means a little extra to them, I think.
You're describing Clark Lee.
Right.
Linebacker knows Vanderbilt.
No question. And a guy I think to watch that I thought really flashed in the spring was Bryce Cowan. He's a senior, has been around the program a while, but I really like the way he played. I think this defense has a chance to be really good as they were last season.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we let you go, I can't let you go before talking a little basketball with you, because Memphis and Vanderbilt, they're going to meet again this season in starting up another series. Had a series a couple years ago when Stack was at Vanderbilt. What do you make of this series starting? Obviously, two programs that are familiar with each other, but kind of a new era at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it is. I'm really excited about it. That game's going to be in December. The first one will be at FedEx Forum. Vanderbilt, as you mentioned, played a home-and-home with Memphis a couple of seasons back. But that's exciting to think about. And it's a game that just makes sense. I always say at times, especially maybe for college basketball, you want to play games that people care about early in the season and that make sense.
Until they give gasoline away and make it close.
Exactly. And that's a game that fits that description. So excited about that series, really excited about the future with Coach Mark Byington, who won 20 games, won some huge games. The Saturdays at Memorial were magical throughout the year. Some of the huge wins, Tennessee and Kentucky and Texas and Ole Miss and Missouri, won that whole stretch of games at Memorial Gym. Got to the tournament, had a tough one against St. Mary's, but just getting to the tournament for the first time in several seasons in year one for Coach Byington was exciting. Brought back 3 guys, then reloaded, as a lot of rosters do in college basketball and really all of college sports. But I think the future is very, very bright with Coach Byington.
Kevin, breaking news. OPEC's not ever giving gas away.
No, I don't think so. I haven't seen it.
Vandy and Memphis need to be playing.
Yeah, let's do it. Tee it up. I really enjoyed the game at FedEx Forum a couple of seasons ago when we were over there. That was the first time I'd been there in a few years. And when Memphis came to Memorial, there were quite a few Tiger fans in the house, so that was fun too. But that's really a fun series, and I'm really happy that they were able to restart that one.
Yeah, really excited about it. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll definitely do it again soon.
Anytime, guys. Always enjoy it.
Thanks, Kevin. Kevin Ingram from the Vanderbilt Radio Network joining us to talk some Vanderbilt football, a little basketball in there as well, with the series getting re-upped between Memphis
Always
and
basketball
Vanderbilt.
Season, Brian.
Always basketball season. And I say, he said Memphis and Vanderbilt should be playing. We talked about they should be playing in everything. We should have Memphis, Vanderbilt in football, even in baseball, even though it's a little scary with how good Vanderbilt baseball is year in and year out. But definitely always fun talking with Kevin Ingram. We need to get to another break, wrap up this hour. But before we do that, let me thank all of our sponsors making this possible for SEC Media Days from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Landers Ford in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place in Collierville, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Gould's Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grisani's in Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates. Thank all those sponsors. We thank you so much for being with us this week at SEC Media Days. Well, let's wrap up this hour, and when we return, we're talking more college football. David Cobb, he joins us next.
Memphis is a love song to soul and style. With the full suite of sought-after designers, brilliant natural diamonds, an elegant bar, luxury VIP lounge, and more, a trip to our store is an experience like no other. Just like the city we love. Stop by any of our stores or visit sissyslogcabin.com and experience Sissy's for yourself. Memphis is our home, and we're your jeweler.
Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Member Week is here at Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, tools, home essentials, and more. Shop our exclusive deals happening in-store and online now through July 18th. Not a rewards member? Join for free today and get ready to save more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home or office. Call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 or visit memphismoldinspector.com.
Make this the summer event you don't want to miss at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2025 Jeep Compass Latitude 4-wheel drive, $23,540 or $297 a month. 2025 Dodge Hornet GT, $26,457 or $344.68 a month. And 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4-wheel drive, $14,000 off MSRP or $408 a month. And 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab 5'7" box rear-wheel drive, $11,391 off MSRP or $511.87 a month. 1.9 for $72 available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
75 months at 5.99, $49.99 down payment. Ram SN728, $346, MSRP $48,260. Compass ST567,703, MSRP $29,765. Hornet SA3846076, MSRP $31,590. Jeep SC283362, MSRP $44,530. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
There's a big piece of debris they're trying to move right now, 55 northbound at State Line Road here in South Memphis. Watch for that as you come up through South Haven on 55 going northbound. Try to build out of Midtown just in the last few minutes on 240 South here at South Parkway. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions here in Memphis says give them a call right now at Lawn Solutions, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is National College Football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joins us now to talk all things college football and college basketball. You can read his work over at cbssports.com. David, thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, SEC Media Days going on right now down in Atlanta. Day one. What are the biggest storylines, biggest questions you want answers to this week down at SEC Media Days?
I'm hoping to learn a little bit more about who's going to be playing quarterback in the SEC this year, because there sure are a lot of new signal callers at that position. So now I've been keeping up with the coverage on SEC Network today. Not down there myself like our good friend Stats is, but I think it's been interesting. And then just this afternoon, you don't typically think of Vanderbilt as being all that interesting, but man, Diego Pavia, he sure has a lot of bravado, and they are not going to sneak up on anybody. And I also think that guy has put a target on his back with some of the things that he's saying this week and that he's said over the past year. Not to mention, that's somebody we didn't even think was going to be back in college football, but literally an entire court precedent has been set to bring that guy back. And I'm just curious to see how that plays out, because I think there's going to be a lot of opposing defenders trying to get their licks in on Diego Pavia this year.
David, it seems every year, kind of out of nowhere, a bolt of lightning type quarterback emerges. Famously, Cam Newton after transferring from Florida, Johnny Manziel from Texas A&M. Nobody saw Jaden Daniels coming. I don't know if we saw the first year of Joe Burrow. I don't know if we saw year two of Joe Burrow. Who could be who's the quarterback this year in the SEC that this time next year at SEC Media Days we're going, man, we didn't talk about him near enough last year?
It's got to be John here probably at Oklahoma, although I would have to double-check on his eligibility situation. I believe he's got multiple years of eligibility remaining after transferring in from Washington State, but that's just somebody that is going totally overlooked here. And I think the thing that makes the biggest difference with John Mateer at Oklahoma is the fact that he's getting his coordinator to come with him, or vice versa, I suppose, right? So they're bringing that Ben Arbuckle sort of system with them from Washington State. So you have the familiarity there. And I love those package duos. I think that gives you such a leg up when a lot of times it takes until year two in a certain system to really see the dividends and see things pay off. In this scenario, it really is like that they've already been together. Like John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle, they know each other inside and out. And so they might be able to hit the ground running at Oklahoma, and you could very well see John Mateer get into the all-SEC conversation and kind of be a dark horse Heisman contender.
What are some of these coaching numbers? What's the number of wins for Sam Pittman? What's the number of wins for Brent Venables? Anybody else we're putting a number by? What's the number for Mark Stoops?
Well, Mark Stoops. It seems like you got to get to a bowl, which is basically just he gets a automatic contract extension every time he gets to a bowl. If he gets to a bowl, I think he's fine. I'd say, Brett, I mean, I don't know what you think, but I think we got to have that conversation with Kalen DeBoer. This is Alabama on a day when one of the prevailing narratives coming out of SEC Media Days is the idea that Nick Saban might not be done coaching. I mean, I don't know how realistic or practical this is, but Greg McElroy puts it out there, and then Lane Kiffin perpetuates it, and now all of a sudden it's one of the top 3 or 4 things that everybody's talking about. Lane Kiffin come back?
Those two things definitely happen. I think Greg tried to walk it back a little bit as the day went on, and I think Lane was having a good time with it as the day went on.
Yeah. Well, but nonetheless, whether it's
out
true
there
or not, it's out there. And if Kalen DeBoer goes 8-4, and Alabama fans have talked themselves into thinking that Nick Saban still wants to coach football, I think it could get really, really uncomfortable for Kalen DeBoer if they don't have a great year. Now, I believe they will. I think Ryan Grubb and Ty Simpson, offensive coordinator, quarterback combo there could be really productive for Alabama. So I think Alabama will be good. But if they are not, I think it could get really uncomfortable there in year 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because Brett and I talked about it last week over at CBS Sports. Y'all put up the hot seat rankings for every single coach in FBS. And for Kalen DeBoer, he's going into the season 2.33 rating, which, according to y'all at CBS Sports, says all good ... for now. So definitely, even CBS Sports is saying, hey, Kalen DeBoer, don't get super comfortable down there in Alabama. You got to go out there and make something happen this year.
Yeah, right. I think he's got to make the playoff. If he makes the playoff, he'll be fine, but that's not necessarily easy to do. I mean, that's not a layup. But if he doesn't, it's going to get uncomfortable. But I mean, obviously, there's other coaches out there in the league who are on a hotter seat than Kalen DeBoer. I just think he's the one that maybe doesn't get talked about as much because it's only year 2, but yeah, it's Alabama and it's replacing Nick Saban and the recruiting victories only go so far in this era. And Hugh Freeze at Auburn is learning that right now. There have been moments in time where over the past couple of years, Auburn fans have been willing to give him grace because, he's doing well in recruiting, right? But then all of a sudden you get passed in the recruiting rankings by a couple of teams. Some photos emerge of you at the golf course. And going into year 4, things look a little different. So, I mean, I would say Hugh Freeze, Mark Stoops, Brian Kelly. There could be a fairly significant amount of turnover in the P4 at large this year because there weren't that many coaching changes in this past cycle compared to what we're used to. I think there could be a fair amount more this year, and a few of those could absolutely, and I think will come from the SEC.
David, when I look at this football schedule, this grid of all 16 teams, all their opponents, I just look at it and realize and think, just mathematical sense, somebody's got to lose. I mean, everybody cannot have the 10-2 breakthrough playoff-bound season. You just cannot. I think the league is very, very good. I do not think it's vintage. I don't think it's at the level of the years of both Kirby and Coach Saban, and maybe Les Miles still pretty good, or Ed Orgeron pretty good at LSU in those years, a decent Gus team. I may be conflating some of the years there, but you know what I'm talking about. I don't think it's at that point. And now you have Steve Sarkisian. He's wanting his 10 wins. You have Mike Elko after getting a great start last year. He wants his shot at it. You have the teams that are here today, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and LSU. They're all thinking 10. Everybody can't put in for a 10-win season.
No, absolutely not. And that's the reality of this new league with 16 teams and the removal of divisions is, it just gets that much more difficult to have that special type of season, especially if you're in that lower tier lower to middle class in the conference historically, looking at Arkansas, looking at South Carolina. I mean, you could even put Ole Miss in that category. I think they're kind of operating on a higher level right now under Lane Kiffin than they did for, outside of a couple of really nice seasons under Hugh Freeze. They're operating at a higher level than they have historically, but maintaining that is especially challenging in this version of the SEC. And look at Tennessee. I mean, I think Tennessee fans just sort of walk around now assuming they operate with a 9-win floor. I mean, that's a pretty high floor in this SEC in this era.
Yeah.
But Josh Heupel's brought that sort of hope back to Tennessee. But you just look across the board, Missouri. I mean, they get another really easy schedule. But that's a team that I don't know. Like, are we sure that team is getting back to 9 wins again? I don't know. 4 or 5 that I've mentioned right there, where I think at minimum 2 or 3 of them are in for seasons of regression after having really quality campaigns a year ago, because LSU is right there ready to strike and get better. Texas A&M in year 2 under Mike Elko, they're going to be a force. Florida, I don't know what their record's going to be, but they ended last season on a surge, and they're only getting better. And so, yeah, I think there could be a pretty significant shuffle around who is in that tier 2 in the league this year, because it's Georgia, obviously, it's Texas, but then that rung immediately below those two could be a whole batch of fresh faces this year compared to last year.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned LSU and Brian Kelly entering year 4. We know those previous head coaches have national championships. We also know the struggle that LSU has had in week 1 games. This season they open against Clemson. What will the reaction be from that fan base if they lose the first game of the season against Clemson? And what's the reaction if they don't get into the playoffs this season?
I think you got to consider moving on from Brian Kelly if you don't get into the playoff, because, I mean, in this era, there's just no reason why LSU shouldn't be in the playoff at minimum once every 3 years. They have that sort of talent in the state. They have that sort of backing, all the resources you can imagine. I mean, you're talking about just an amazing run of quarterbacks with Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier. And if you can't capitalize, if you miss with Jaden Daniels, and with Garrett Nussmeier, back-to-back quarterbacks, I mean, what are you doing?
We'll miss you.
And so,
yeah,
I just don't know that you can justify moving forward with Brian Kelly if he doesn't get it done with Garrett Nussmeier. It's just so, LSU to me has got to take a step forward this year. And I mean, I thought Brian Kelly was good today. Like, I mean, it's a talk behind a podium. I mean, there's only so much you can really say or do, but I thought he said and did the right things today from what I saw from the coverage, and putting the tiger paw on the punching bag in the weight room just to remind the LSU players of like what they're working toward. A marquee week 0 game against Clemson, man, that is as good as college football gets right there, right out of the gate. So, I mean, you've got to win that game because they're 0-3 so far in week 1 under Brian Kelly. You've got to get over the hump. If they don't, I mean, I'd be surprised if they're there at the end. If they do, I think you can go ahead and pencil them in for the playoff.
What if LSU lost opening night to Clemson? That wouldn't shock anybody. And then at home suffer a loss to Florida. That sends Brian Kelly and LSU to Oxford September 27th with everybody saying, you better win or else.
Yeah. I mean, you could be looking at an early breakup if that's the direction it goes. And I don't think it's inconceivable either, because I mean, Florida, as I've mentioned, is good. Like, they might go 8-4 because their schedule is just that tough, but they're good. If DJ Lagway can stay healthy, they might be really good. So it's not inconceivable by any stretch that could happen. Now, at the same time, do I believe LSU is good enough to go 10-2, 11-1? Yeah, I do. I think they have that amount of talent. And I think Blake Baker, their second-year defensive coordinator, I think LSU is going to make some significant strides with him in year 2. I mean, they were better. They were better defensively in his first year last year. And Brian Kelly said today he's confident they've finally given him the talent, the players he needs defensively to take a step forward. And I think that's huge for LSU, because that means Garrett Nussmeier doesn't have to be the hero all the time. They lost some games last year because basically it was like, hey, Gary, you got to go and do everything for us. You got to go and win this game. And then that led to some turnovers, which led to some criticism on Garrett Nussmeier, which leads us to doubt Garrett Nussmeier a little bit going into this season. But if the defense is better, it takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback. If it's like, all right, I don't have to go out here and throw for 5 or 6 touchdowns because our defense is actually going to hold somebody to under 28 points, right? Like if you have that belief and that confidence, then I think it frees you up offensively to make better decisions. So that to me is kind of what it all comes down to: is are they going to make that year 2 jump defensively?
LSU had their moment of the year in overtime against Ole Miss a month later or so. They hosted Alabama, and I watched that game again a couple weekends ago. And that Bama drive, they get the ball with about 5:50 to play. LSU has 1 or 2 timeouts. The margin is way out of reach. And Bama goes into off tackle right, off tackle left. LSU knows it's coming. They can't do anything about it. And not only did Bama successfully drive down and score, in over the course of that drive, that stadium went from about 50% still there to about 5%. I'm thinking, I was just there a month ago, and it was like that, and Bama did this to them. Bama really did almost hypnotize them.
And that's embarrassing for a program that prides itself on having the best home field advantage in college football. And that's twice that they've gotten eviscerated on their home field by non-playoff teams under Brian Kelly. You go back to 22. Tennessee went in there and just beat the brakes off of them in Death Valley. Like that's
early
not
game.
what we're
Yeah,
used to.
early Saturday morning game.
You pick up another one of those types of losses against the Florida in this scenario in September, and boy, it gets real nasty real fast there in Baton Rouge. So, but that's where I think Brian Kelly thinks they've given Blake Baker enough, especially on the defensive front, to make sure that doesn't happen again. So that's to me. I mean, I think LSU is arguably the most interesting team in the league because you're just waiting for it to pop. Because Bryant, you mentioned it when we got into it. Like the last 3 coaches there have won national titles, and 2 of them are nowhere near as good of a coach as Brian Kelly has been historically. So why in the world can't Brian Kelly get it done? And that is a mystery that is still lingering overhead and sort of surrounding this program going into his 4th season.
Yeah. We know it's got to be a big year for Auburn. 2-6 in conference last year, 5-7 overall. It feels like the golfing habits of Hugh Freeze has become a big storyline this offseason. I saw somewhere that I think Lane Kiffin was asked if he fished more this offseason than Hugh Freeze golfed. But we know it's got to be a big year for Auburn. They go out and get Jackson Arnold out of the transfer portal. Is Jackson Arnold the answer for Auburn this season? Kind of since Hugh Freeze taken over, the biggest question mark has been the quarterback position. Is Jackson Arnold the answer?
I'm not sold. I'm not convinced that he is. And he better be. Like, otherwise this thing is going nowhere fast. I mean, the thing with Hugh Freeze is when you bring a guy like that in, given his track record, you expect him to produce good offenses. They haven't done that. And it's basically like they punted on the first 2 years of his tenure, playing Peyton Thorne at quarterback, not going all in whatsoever. Now they've backed themselves into a corner where it's like, all right, Jackson Arnold, like, you better be the guy. And I watched enough of him last season to have a lot of doubts over whether or not he is the guy. Now, I will say this. I actually think Auburn has a really good receiver room. And if you go and look last season at Oklahoma, I mean, it was just injury after injury after injury at receiver. Whereas you look at Auburn this year, for the first time in a long time at Auburn, it feels like their receiver group is pretty solid. So he's gonna have a chance. Like, was Jackson Arnold good enough to overcome some of the flaws around him at OU last year? No, he was not. So I don't think he's an All-American caliber player. I don't think he's one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the SEC. Can he be the 6th or 7th best quarterback in the SEC? If he can be, then Auburn can win 8 games, establish some momentum, Hugh Freeze saves his job. We stop talking about how much golf he's playing. They sign a top 15 class. You know, you get at least to the Gus Malzahn sort of plane, which wasn't enough to save Gus Malzahn's job, but at this point it would sure look like progress if you're Hugh Freeze. So that's, I mean, I guess to underline it, I don't expect Jackson Arnold to be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC, but if he's an average to slightly above average quarterback in the SEC with the help of that receiving room, yeah, I mean, I can see Auburn winning 8 games, and that would be enough to keep Hugh Freeze around.
Our guest, David Cobble, our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line from CBS Sports. He's with us every single Monday talking college football and college basketball, and we so appreciate it. It was great seeing you last week, David, when you were in town for a little bit at Mississippi State for Jeff Lebby. We know what improvement would be. It would be more wins than last year. I think improvement would be winning pretty convincingly and looking really sharp opening day at Hattiesburg against Southern Miss. And then this year, instead of scaring Arizona State late in the game, pull the upset over playoff team last year, Arizona State with Sam Leavitt. And then I think the Jeff Lebby era at Mississippi State would really be started.
Yeah, I kind of quietly think Mississippi State's going to surprise somebody. And Arizona State looks like a prime candidate because, I mean, for one thing, a very, very, very bad Mississippi State team last year almost beat Arizona State on the road.
Sure did.
When Arizona State ended up making the playoffs. So now, this time around, Arizona State comes to Starkville. Everyone's just assuming that Arizona State's going to win that game by 2 touchdowns. But you got to remember, Arizona State doesn't have Cam Scatterbo anymore. And Mississippi State actually has an offensive line and a defensive line that should be at least somewhat competent. So, like, it's a totally different dynamic, I think, for both teams, including the location of the game this year. So that's a golden opportunity right there for Mississippi State to make some noise. And then a couple weeks later, I mean, Tennessee marches in there, and that's another one where, outside of the Egg Bowl, if you're looking for an upset or, a game or a day where some crazy things could happen, I mean, look out for that one too, because Jeff Lebby knows that Josh Heupel system and that Josh Heupel methodology as well as anybody. I mean, they go way, way back. And so, I don't know. Like, I just think that Mississippi State, do I think they're going to make a bowl game? No. Do I think they're going to be a lot more annoying and competitive and competent than last year? Absolutely. I think that they could
and showing signs
spring a couple of upsets. And honestly, like, 4-8 would be a big step in the right direction after last year, and I absolutely think that's within the cards.
Absolutely.
I do too.
Last thing for you, David, before we let you go, Missouri, a team that everyone was excited about last season after what they did in 2023, now having to replace a ton on the offensive side. Got to replace a quarterback, got to replace running back, got to replace a couple receivers. What does this Missouri team look like in 2025?
Yeah, to me, it's all about the schedule with Missouri. They get a really favorable draw again, and it's why we've got to stop looking at records. I mean, Lane Kiffin was on this today, and I agree with most of what he says and most of where he's coming from. Although I do think the SEC should go to 9 conference games, but it's a classic case with Missouri of you can't look at the record and draw conclusions from it because they play a different schedule than the rest of the league. I mean, it's almost comical when you look at it, and probably their toughest game is Alabama, and it's at home. And you don't play Georgia, you don't play LSU, it's just you don't play Texas. I mean, that's what it comes down to for me with Missouri is this is an SEC program that's playing a Big 12 caliber schedule in the SEC, and so they're going to have a chance to win another 10 games. And, I don't think they're a playoff caliber team. I don't think they are a serious threat to win the league. But I think they're going to have a nice win-loss record because they have a really advantageous schedule.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do next year, or I guess this year. As always, David, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll do it again on Monday.
All right, guys, I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Thank you. David Cobb with us from CBS Sports with us every week. He was on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, they are with us always, with us all the time with the text and talk line, with us at the golf tournament, with us at SEC Media Days. We so appreciate them. This week, our SEC Media Day sponsors include Sissy's Log Cabin and Landers Ford, the official vehicle of SEC Media Days, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place in Collierville, Ghoul's Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grisani's in Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet down in Olive Branch, Jimmy McElroy and Associates, and our friends at East Memphis Ace Hardware. Shop locally at East Memphis Ace Hardware at 5143 Quince and Quince Station Shopping Center. I hear people all the time saying, boy, I wish we had that old hardware store that we used to have. Well, we have it. We've had it. And you will go by there and see with Janelle and Jarrett Carter what they have built. Plants, tools, lawnmowers, grills. Did I say grills? Big Green Egg, gas grills, Traeger grills, charcoal grills, flat top grills, Weber and Blackstone. Look, we've hit one of the drier patches of summer, and so maybe without Mother Nature doing the watering thing, you might be seeing some of those bare spots. The grass seed. Go by there and get your grass seed, fill in those spots. They'll show you how, and they'll help you do it. East Memphis Ace Hardware with everything you need for the yard, for the patio, for the great outdoors. Knowledgeable advice on how to choose that perfect grill for you if you need that for the outdoors. Outdoor power equipment, paint and supplies. Decorate your yard for football season with Tigers and all the SEC yard decor. All the brands, Steel, Toro, Milwaukee. Ace really is the helpful place in East Memphis Ace Hardware, the local friendly place at 5143 Quince in Quince Station Shopping Center at Quince and White Station.
Well, we've talked two of the teams that went today, South Carolina and Vanderbilt. We've got to talk two more. We've got to talk LSU. We've got to talk Ole Miss. And then we'll wrap up day one of SEC Media Days. But let's go ahead and get to another break. When we come back, we'll knock out LSU. Matt Moscona from ESPN Baton Rouge. He's going to join us next. We will talk about the Bayou Bengals. We'll talk about Brian Kelly in his fourth year. What are those expectations this season? And bringing back that quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier. We'll do all that next on Sports Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guarantee lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bar sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsofMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Quicky's Barbecue in Cordova.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com. This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon, Midtown traffic. Trying to build a little bit more in the last few minutes. 240 south at South Parkway, all the way down past Norris. As you continue south of Memphis, that's been in decent shape so far, but a little bit of radar as you continue south of Memphis on 55 down through certain parts of DeSoto County. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions here in Memphis says give them a call at Lawn Solutions. Here's the number, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We're at SEC Media Days all week long. We've talked South Carolina. We've talked Vanderbilt. Now we've got to talk LSU. And Matt Moscona from ESPN Baton Rouge joins us now to talk LSU. Matt, thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, year 4 for Brian Kelly. We know bringing back a veteran quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier. What are the expectations down in Baton Rouge for this LSU team this season?
Expectations are to win every game and win a championship.
It's LSU.
Sounds about right.
His 3 predecessors all won a title, man.
Well, I think that's why Brian Kelly's is at LSU. I mean, he got Notre Dame to a BCS championship game, got Notre Dame to 2 playoffs, and kept running into Alabama and Clemson and realized, you mean Les Miles and Ed Ogeron won national championships at LSU? I'll take that job.
Did he think it'd be easy?
Oh, I don't know that he thought it would be easy. I think he certainly had some missteps early, which delayed the process. Most notably, I'll give you an example. I mean, Brett, I think you know this. We've talked about this plenty over the years, but the biggest advantage LSU has is the dirt. Louisiana is a talent-rich state, and LSU is the only game in town. You've got – Nick Saban showed the way 20 years ago, put a fence around the state. And Brian Kelly came in, and half his staff was Louisiana people, half his staff were people that knew him and his systems. And he might tell you that he did it that way to help integrate culture and all that, maybe. But today, the only staff member, not on field, and supports at anything, the only remaining person in LSU football ops that came with Brian Kelly from Notre Dame is Jake Flint, the strength coach. That's it. Everybody else played at LSU, ties to LSU, coached at LSU, from Louisiana, something like that.
There's no place like it.
It is. I agree. I don't know that necessarily means that's a good thing. It's just the reality.
No, it's a good thing.
It's the reality.
Matt, I think you could win a national championship in every sport just recruiting players south of I-10.
Maybe not in basketball. Basketball, Louisiana doesn't pump them out, man. Not in basketball, because every great athlete, Brett, wants to play football.
Yeah,
and so they grow up wanting to play football, wanting to play at LSU. Now they've been great basketball players from Louisiana. There's
maybe not south of I-10, but
no,
Mailman was real good.
No, you're right. You can build an all-time team now for sure. Yeah. You could, it's just if you with guys that went to LSU. But anyway, the point being,
and you go back. Scotty Thurman was from Ruston.
Yeah. North Louisiana's had some, man.
Yeah.
They've had some dudes. But you've had some guys come out of New Orleans that have been really good. But anyway.
We had Stroh show in Memphis.
I still love Stroh, man. Stroh has started coming back around the basketball program.
I don't think I got the hand signals just right.
Yeah, it's like the bird logo he does. But I think that shows an evolution that Brian Kelly has had in his 4 years. Is everything he is all in now with all Louisiana, and he's going to leverage that as much as he needs to with a lot of the same people that helped Les Miles and Ed Ogeron build their rosters to championship level.
All right, opening day, the Battle of Death Valley. What's the real Death Valley? Tigers and Tigers. Heisman stakes on the line, national supremacy on the line, the whole LSU on opening day thing. opening day is going to be great. Opening night at Clemson.
It's like the Death Valley thing, Brett. I would say it's like the Mardi Gras. Mobile might have been first, but New Orleans does it best.
Yeah.
Clemson might have had it first, but everybody knows Death Valley. Associated with LSU.
That's a great answer.
It's going to be a great. I think it's going to be a great football game. I would lean Clemson today. Fifth-year senior quarterback. They're at home. A coach that's won 2 national championships. They're off a playoff appearance. They got a talented roster. It's a virtual coin flip. I think the line's maybe 2.5, 3, something like that. If it were in Baton Rouge, that would probably flip, and LSU would be a slight favorite. I think it's going to be a really hard game for LSU to go on the road and win. But if they win that one, man, it's hard to find a booby trap along the way with what this team could be capable of.
Florida coming to Baton Rouge 2 weeks later, win or lose. You got to play Louisiana Tech and got to get ready for the Gators.
Look at whatever you would deem to be a tough game on LSU's schedule. Just call it out. What do you think would be a tough game?
Florida.
Who do they play before Florida?
Louisiana Tech.
Give me another one.
Ole Miss.
What do they do before Ole Miss?
Southeast Louisiana.
Give me another one.
South Carolina. Throw one in there.
What's before that?
Open
day.
Open.
Wow.
Give me another one.
Alabama.
What's before that?
Open.
Yeah. OU and Norman.
What's before that?
Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know the schedule, don't you?
There is no, because I'll tell you this, bro. When I look at a team, I'll tell you my feelings on Ole Miss about this. When I look at a team before the season, there's 2 things. When I'll sit down and do my order of finish, there's 2 things I look at. Who has the fewest questions against the most manageable schedule? Now, LSU's got tough games on its schedule, but they avoid the gauntlet.
The rat-a-tat-tat. Yeah.
Look at Florida. You got Florida in front of you? The first 2 weeks, they play Long Island and then South Florida. Look at the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, Miami Open, Texas A&M, yeah.
LSU.
Yeah.
But look on the road. They're at Miami, at LSU, Texas, A&M. Like, it is a brutal gauntlet. Like, Florida may be good. Liveway may be good. How do you get through that schedule?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I look at.
That's good stuff.
That is really good. That's really good
That's
stuff.
illustrative for future W's and L's for us, Brian.
Sure. No, I'm keeping that somewhere in the back of my head. I don't know where I'm storing that, but it's somewhere I can get to it.
File that one.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about...
Ole Miss has an open date before they come to LSU.
Yeah, that is true.
But, no, I'm sorry, South Carolina. South Carolina's open before they come to LSU, but LSU's open before South Carolina comes to LSU. So you get an open date for that one, too. The schedule, just the fluidity of the schedule, it plays nicely for LSU.
Brian, should I tell Matt my Scott Woodward story leaving Tiger Stadium last year?
I think so. I think maybe.
So you know that atmosphere, and you know how I felt. Overtime, crushing loss. Didn't think I was going to get from the locker room to the press box. Nice deputy sheriff. She got me and my post-game producer across that field, back up to the press box. Do post-game, come down to the bottom of the elevator. Cars parked, down by the baseball field, where we park. And I'm walking along and not being razzed, but good-natured. And then a golf cart pulls up. Scott Woodward goes, "Brett, get in." and I get in the golf cart. Oh, man, thank you. You managed to save my life. And he drives me down to my car. And when he gets out, he goes, "It was some night. I know you're hurting." He said, "Top 2 or 3 atmosphere ever at Tiger Stadium." I said, "Well, Scott, I'm glad I was a part of it. Thank you."
It was really good,
wasn't
man. It was a great night. It's a game Ole Miss had no business losing. I'll tell you, Brett, and to both you guys, I look at Ole Miss last year, and there's so many parallels to LSU this year. Ole Miss had the veteran quarterback. You went ham in the portal. You know the names, but Nolan and Prince Suman Mielen. Go on down the list. Chris Paul, Trey Harris. It was there. It was all there. And you lost 3 games. I'm not saying Ole Miss lost 3 games. They had no business losing. They had no business losing to Kentucky. They had no business losing that game to LSU. The only time they trailed was the final score. They had a red zone possession where they came away with no points. The 4th down pass to Aaron Anderson to tie it. And then the Florida game, kick any of those 3 field goals where you handed the ball to Pegues in the red zone, and you're a
took field goals the week before against Georgia.
That is my parallel for LSU this year. Ole Miss last year was talented enough to beat any team they played. They could have. That team was good enough to look at what they did to Georgia. My God, that's LSU this year. But that doesn't mean you're going to win, because it's hard to win in this league, and it's hard to win on the road, and there's landmines everywhere, and now you got to play off, and it's just I look at LSU this year the same way that I looked at Ole Miss a year ago. It's going to be, you're talented enough to win them all. It's just, can you navigate this gauntlet and get there into the playoffs?
Will LSU be in the playoffs?
I think they're going to go 10-2 and make it. I think it's going to look like Tennessee a year ago as a 10-2 team. I'm curious if the league gets 3 or 4 this year, but I do think LSU will get to 10-2. I think if I had to pick it today, I'd pick them to lose to Clemson in the opener and go 7-1 in the league. They'll lose one of those road games somewhere. Maybe it's in Oxford, maybe it's in Tuscaloosa. But I think they'll go 10-2, make the playoff, and we'll see what the draw looks like.
And OU at the end of the year.
I'm not big on OU, but all right, here, let's do this, Brett. Do you have time?
I do.
Look at Oklahoma's schedule.
All right. The same premise?
Look at it.
Tough game, Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah, before. Auburn, week before Temple. For Oklahoma.
Look at their road games. Just look at Oklahoma's road conference games.
Yeah, to Columbia, to play South Carolina, to Alabama.
Yeah. At Tennessee.
Yeah.
At Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get Texas in a neutral site.
That's right.
I mean,
it's really neutral.
It's brutal.
Split down the middle, neutral.
Yeah,
it really is neutral.
Their schedule, and I don't know what John Mateer is going to be, their schedule does not shape up for Oklahoma to be a team that wins more than 8 games this year.
We know what Doug Nussmeier is going to be, don't we?
Garrett.
Garrett.
Yeah,
we know his dad, Doug.
Yeah.
Garrett. We know Garrett's big time.
Yeah. Well, I know. I hope Doug's really good with the Saints this year. That's what I hope they come along. Garrett, the interesting thing with Garrett is last year at this event, he was taking over for Jaden. And my answer to everybody was, look, you go to Central Casting, you're looking for a quarterback that looks like Nussmeier. He's got size, he's got speed, he's got arm strength, he's got toughness and moxie, and he's a son of a coach and smart and all that stuff. What he doesn't have is experience. And that showed. The 3-game losing streak last year, it showed. The interceptions against A&M, a lot of that stuff on the road against Florida, a lot of that stuff bit them in that 3-game losing streak. Now he has that experience. For LSU to be what they think they can be this year, that experience has to manifest better play in those moments this fall. If it does, LSU is talented enough to beat anybody they play, and they got a great quarterback and all that stuff. But I mentioned the A&M game. If it's 3rd and short and Nuss is rolling to his left, does he tuck it and run and get the first down, or does he throw back across the middle of the field and throw a pick? Last year he threw back across the middle of the field, threw a pick, and it cost him a game. Does that experience net a better result this year? If it does, the LSU could be great. They could be.
Bright and I like to have fun with this. Okay, so we're at the pick out the big mall in Baton Rouge or in New Orleans. Pick out a big mall in New Orleans. On one end of the mall signing autographs is Joe Burrow. On the other end of the mall
the
signing
answer is Joe Burrow. It doesn't matter what the next thing you say. The answer is Joe Burrow.
Reincarnation of Billy Cannon.
Well, it's no. I'm so Brett.
Yeah.
This is why I like talking to you so much too, because you understand the history of it. I was born in New Orleans, spent most of my life in Baton Rouge. Forever, every conversation started with Billy Cannon.
And then Jimmy Taylor.
Who's the greatest women's basketball player? Billy Ray Cannon? Just Billy Cannon was everything. Joe Burrow has challenged that, if not unseated Billy Cannon, as the answer to that question that everyone starts with now. And I never thought I'd see it in my life.
Where does Jaden Daniels come in then?
Jaden didn't win a national championship, and that's the thing that Jaden was magnificent. And and look at what he's doing in the NFL. And history is going to be kind to him, and people revere him, and he should have a statue and everything else. But he didn't win the national championship, and that's the one thing that's going to be the blemish.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the answer to your question, whatever the other answer was, the other option was going to be, it was going to be Joe Burrow.
Last thing,
even with Shaq.
Oh.
Yeah,
wow.
I agree.
Wow. Last thing for you, Matt, real quick. This defense, we know a couple injuries last year. Harold Perkins Jr., Whit Weeks, both coming off injuries. How are those two guys coming along, and what can this defense be this year?
Yeah, I had a chance to visit with Whit today for a good bit, and he was even wearing these loafers with no socks, and you could see the scar on his ankle where he broke his foot and had surgery. He's 100%. He said he's doing everything.
Tackling machine.
Doing everything. Y'all saw it last year. I mean, that Ole Miss game might have been his best game of the year. That in Arkansas, he was incredible. He is incredible. Do you realize, guys, I told him he didn't know this. I told him this. last year, Whit Weeks had more tackles than Devin White did in his Butkus award-winning season.
Holy cow.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
So he's awesome, great leader. I hope he stays healthy and has a great year. Perkins, same thing. The best thing about Harold Perkins is he's finally going to be back playing his natural position. The last 2 years they've messed around and tried to make him an off-ball linebacker because he was trying to show the NFL he could play off the ball and be a three-down guy. That's not what he is.
Just play the field, play the grass.
The best, I hate to bring this up to you all, but actually I'd love to bring it up to you all, is the Ole Miss game from his freshman year.
Yeah.
The game, Lane said in his postgame, he said, when did the game change? When 40 went in the game.
That's it.
He's a tilt-the-field guy when he's playing in space because he can turn and cover, he can tackle in space, he can blitz you off the edge. That's what he has to do. And in that star position in Blake Baker's defense, Major Burns played that position a year ago, and Major was not very good at that. He's a box safety.
Perkins and Will Anderson blew Lane's mind away.
Yeah.
How they played.
Pretty good players.
Yeah.
No, they really
Matt,
are.
thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt.
Have a great week.
My pleasure, guys.
Good luck to the Tigers this year.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, man. Matt Moscona with us from ESPN down in Baton Rouge, and we'll catch up with him during the football season, our SEC Media Days coverage, all our great sponsors, and one of them includes our friends at All-Star Chevrolet for that summertime fun, and the best road trip started right there at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. 0 interest on all new Silverado 1500s. Nobody with more new Silverados than at All-Star. Go big in a new Silverado HD. Interest as low as 4.9. No payments for 90 days. Your good credit deserves it, and you get it at All-Star. Equinox are flying off the lot as All-Star celebrates our nation's birth in the month of July. All these new Equinox right there on the lot in Olive Branch, selling at just $100 over invoice. Come pick out your Equinox, see the invoice, add $100 to it, and it's your vehicle for a great deal in the month of July. Check out all the certified pre-owns in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. Test drive that Corvette Stingray. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star, and you'll get more money back for it, whether you bought it there or not. Let's go to All-Star, and together let's drive something from Olive Branch and All-Star Chevrolet. For more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Up your life with Lads. Surprise the family with a new club car and experience the best golf cart in the industry. A new golf cart is perfect for cruising the neighborhood, enjoying yourself at the lake, turning heads on the course, and just having something reliable to use around the yard. Lads has you covered with new and used golf cars. The new club car Onward, available in electric or gas and a variety of colors and features. Lads goes beyond the green. Whitten and I-40 or online at lads.net.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
It's time for the pro to get everything for the job delivered. Large orders of lumber, doors, windows, paint, plumbing, anything the job needs, all from one partner. Get it today with same-day delivery. Get it tomorrow with next-day delivery on 50,000 plus products. Or get it on your timeline with scheduled delivery on everything from framing to flooring. It's time to get your whole job, all your jobs delivered. Ask about all our new delivery options at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Awards, styling, driving dynamics, and innovative technology is what you'll find in your new Mitsubishi from Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Looking for a deal on your next ride? We Gossett. 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, car and driver's best with 39 combined MPG, 15,675. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, 28,480 or $399 per month. And 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid with combined range of 420 miles. Better warranty, more electric range on full charge than a Mazda CX-90 or Toyota RAV4. PHEV, now $39,115 or $349 a month. Plus, get peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi. 1870 Covington Pike, online, MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
SU 006-6180, MSRP 28,980, PHEV, SE 001730, MSRP 42,615, Mirage, RH 037309, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today is the number 38, and it is the big number because that's how many home runs the big dumper Cal Raleigh has going into the home run derby later tonight in the same city that you are currently in, Brett, at SEC Media Days, the All-Star festivities. They've already got going. On Saturday, they had the prospects game out there. J.J. Weatherholt hit a double in his first at-bat. Yesterday,
no catchers ever won home run derby, have they?
I don't think so. I don't
think
believe
so.
Which worries me. I don't know. We talked last week about me maybe putting some cash down on Cal Raleigh. I don't know if I'm going to do that or if I'm going to go with the local flavor in our guy Brent Rooker. But Cal Raleigh, what he's done this season has been remarkable. 38 home runs, hitting from both sides. I love those stats that point out the amount of home runs hit by right-handed catchers, by left-handed catchers, and he's basically at the top for both of them. So hopefully we see a big night for Cal Raleigh tonight in the home run derby. But we also mentioned Brent Rooker going to be out there, the Memphian, so should be a lot of fun at the home run derby later tonight.
It will be a lot of fun, and we'll be watching good festivities tonight, and then tomorrow night, nice party to watch the All-Star game. No way to try to get to North Atlanta tonight. Can't imagine that traffic.
No chance at all. That'd be brutal. I mean, getting around, I've actually never been to Atlanta, but I have friends that go all the time, and they say just on a regular day, it's hard to get around.
Yesterday on Sunday,
I believe it.
Getting here was that bad. I'm getting some traction from my SEC Media Days in Philadelphia next year.
All right, you pushing it. I love
Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Okay, yes,
Wiggins
exactly.
General Store.
Keep pushing that. Let's get everyone, all the media, to join in on let's get it to Philadelphia, Mississippi next year.
At Mr. Cooper Williams' store,
right.
the grandparents of the Manning boys. My big number is 44. We're getting ready to talk Ole Miss football with Brad Logan and Lane Kiffin. That's the number of games he's won in 5 years. He's 44-18. Let me give you a little context on something. That's 62 games, 44-18. The previous 62 games before Lane Kiffin became head coach, that was good years with Freeze in there.
Yeah.
Previous 62, they were 30-32.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a really good big number.
And we were talking about perspective and what you get used to. It's what he wanted. He wanted people to get used to it. Yeah, he was unbelievably heartbroken last year at 3 devastating losses. I mean, we visited with Matt Moscona about those 3 losses, and nobody was more devastated than Lane. But he has found a way to learn every year in this job and really settled in starting year 6. But 44-18 in 5 seasons at Ole Miss.
That's really good stuff, and it has. It has been it's been really fun seeing what he has been able to do with Ole Miss and where he's gotten them. And man, going back to what we were talking about with Matt, I mean his logic around LSU and other teams in the conference and how their seasons can play out. I mean, just listening to him talk about that and kind of looking at him going, wow, you're right. This schedule is lining up really well for LSU. This schedule is not really lining up well for Oklahoma. I mean, he I think is on something, and it could be big seasons for LSU. But yeah, Ole Miss, obviously, Lane Kiffin talking earlier, new quarterback in there. We'll talk about that with Brad Logan here in a minute. But I think still big expectations for Ole Miss this season.
How does that game in Oxford this year top 2 years ago? Ole Miss down 9 with 5 minutes to go. And it was really the win that launched the super Lane mania at Ole Miss. To get that win over Jaden Daniels in his Heisman year, and that game on September 27th, to close out the month of September, the LSU Tigers coming to Oxford.
Yeah, I don't know if there is topping what happened in that game ever, maybe, because that was just an incredible game. But not going to be easy. I remember, what was it, 2 years ago, Tulane and Ole Miss, that it was a tough game for Ole Miss, especially a tough start. Yeah, and now you got Tulane again. Now it is at home this year, but Tulane and then the next week against LSU. So it's not going to be easy for Ole Miss getting ready for that LSU week with Tulane right on the schedule before. But definitely will be a lot of fun talking Ole Miss in our next segment. But we've talked about it a lot. Our great sponsors that are making this week possible every single day this week. As long as SEC Media Days is going on, we will be bringing you the show each and every afternoon from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Got to thank our great sponsors, Landers Ford in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place in Collierville, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Gould's Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grisani's in Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates.
One of those great sponsors is Gould's Salon and Spa, and they've been turning heads since 1932. Mr. Sam Gould had a dream to provide his clientele with a truly professional and unique fashion experience, and it's been realized with a family operation. Fathers, sons, grandsons, granddaughters, valuable associates, from a small hair salon to today's juggernaut. Upscale ambiance, chic style that once was considered a Hollywood luxury, we have it now in Memphis with so many locations. You're never far from a Gould's Salon and Spa with services and body treatments, massages, facial, nail care, Medi-Spa services. Go to GouldSalonSpa.com, a commitment to providing a unique fashion experience for all these years, over 90 years of distinction, and with over 300 associates making you feel so very good. Exclusive to our area, and it's the best gift any time of the year for any holiday. That Gould's gift card, always the right size, always the right color, the best spa packages, salon products, and those gift cards, they're the hit. From downtown to Collierville, there's a Gould's near you.
Let's get to another break, wrap up this second hour, and when we return, we're talking Ole Miss with Brad Logan from On3 and Ole Miss Spirit. He joins us next on Sports Time.
Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes, or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. We can't wait to serve you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe. To NST, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event is going strong at Gossett Hyundai on the Pike, and we're ready to beat the competition with your new ride. 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Sport, we Gossett, $299 a month, 3.99 available for 72 months. 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL EV, 318 miles on a single charge, $320 a month, 2.99 available for 72 months. And vacation-ready 2025 Hyundai Palisade SEL, now $436 a month, 0% for 60 months. Available in 90-day no payment, plus America's best Pinion 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai today. 1870 coming to Pike, online HyundaiGossett.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
36 months, 10,000 miles per year. Elantra SU 997852, MSRP 25,565. Ioniq SYO 16455, MSRP 52015. APR offer in lieu of 7,500 cash rebate. Palisade SU 921,930, MSRP 42,395. Must finance through Hyundai Kia. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Trying to move a little bit better out here where it's been slow on 40 eastbound at Chambers Chapel on the scene of this accident. This time of the afternoon gets clogged up anyway out here with all that traffic making its way out towards Fayette County. Again, cleaning up that earlier wreck, 40 eastbound at Chambers Chapel, as traffic starts to build not only out in this area but coming eastbound there from Sycamore View Road to Germantown. Parkway has increased quite a bit. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by and see them at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden. Weekdays from 11 to 1. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
Say you stand by your man. Tell me something.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live inside our Family Leisure studios. We're at SEC Media Days all week long, live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. We've talked 3 of the teams that spoke today. Now we got to talk the last. That would be the Ole Miss Rebels. And joining us now to talk Ole Miss, Brad Logan from On3 and Ole Miss Spirit. Brad, thanks so much for joining us. Good to hear from you again. A lot of talk about this Ole Miss team just outside of the playoffs last year. We know got to replace a good amount of production from last year, but they'll bring in Austin Simmons at the quarterback position. I know a lot of people excited about Austin Simmons. What excites you the most about the young quarterback?
Yeah, Brian, thank you and Brett for having me on today. It was I think you would summate this day was it was a good day. I think if you ask Lane Kiffin, he would agree. And you look at what Ole Miss is returning on offense, it all starts with Austin Simmons at quarterback. And we had a chance to visit with him today. But I don't know that I wasn't more impressed with Caden Lee. What he was able to talk about, not dissecting the offense, but just the way he talked about how Austin Simmons had control of the offense when Jackson Dart went down against Georgia, having him come in the latter part of the Gator Bowl. And it just feels like there's a familiarity there. And Caden Lee told a story that when he came in, he being Austin Simmons came in when Dart went down, he expected a fire and brimstone speech and all this. He didn't get anything. He just looked at everybody in the eye and said, we're going to score a touchdown.
Play ball.
And Caden said, well, throw me the ball. And he commenced to throw him the ball, and they scored a touchdown. So I think Ole Miss fans can look back and think that they have a really good offense being led by Austin Simmons. And to answer your question, I thought T.J. Daugherty was good today, Bryant. Had a chance to visit with him, and there's no doubt there's a ton of talent in the NFL that played on this Rebel team last year. There are a lot of holes to fill. But T.J. Daugherty's the guy that wears the green little notation thing on his helmet, and that means he's the captain. He's the quarterback. He's the one that Pete Golding calls the plays into. So there are a lot of players on the back end of that defense, and it starts, I think, with Jalen Braxton, the transfer out of Arkansas. And he specifically called Jalen's name and how excited he was because Trey Amos is now playing for the Steelers in the National Football League. So a lot of good things happened today. The good news is, as you know and everyone knows, everyone's undefeated right now. So, but yeah, big
and
day.
proud of it.
Yeah, proud of it. But a big day for Ole Miss for sure.
It was a good day. Caden Lee, one of the two offensive players here, and I would have Jordan Watkins on with me many times over the last few years post game, and I'd call him Mr. Reliable. But when Ole Miss needed that 3rd and 13, he'd get 14, and would fight for the first down marker. I think Caden Lee will fill that void. He will very much be the new Jordan Watkins, and for me, I will always have a fondness and appreciation for Caden Lee because in that despair of one of the most heartbroken locker rooms I've ever been a part of at Baton Rouge after the LSU game, there weren't many people volunteering to be on the post-game show with me. Caden Lee sat down from the offensive side and Chris Paul from the defensive side. That speaks to your character when you lose a heartbreaker like that.
It really does.
And it was rough that night, Brad.
Well, we were in the post-game press availability, and normally Lane Kiffin, I make the comment a lot that he never gets too high and he never gets too low. Obviously, everyone was really down, but Jackson Dart, to his credit, he came in and he was beat down. I mean, that was a hard loss for Ole Miss fans, especially down in Baton Rouge, a place that Ole Miss has had a little bit of success.
Had them beat all night.
Had them beat for sure. And, you and I talked. Let's go back to Caden Lee a moment, Brett, and we talked pre-production here. I don't think he dropped a pass last year.
0 drops.
And that's someone
Very
you can
sure-handed.
build your offense around. And not only that, there's a familiarity there. And if you throw in the names like Harrison Wallace III, DeJon Stribling, this 2 senior transfers, you throw in Caleb Odom and Deuce Alexander, that wide receiving room all of a sudden, Brett, becomes really, really good for Ole Miss.
It does, and that has been a strength for the Lane Kiffin years. He always finds a way. We just did a segment called Big Number of the Day, and my big number was the 44 wins for Coach Kiffin at Ole Miss. 44-18, 62 games. At previous 62 games, Ole Miss was 30-32. He's made really hard, not look easy, but the expectations are there, and he's done it with establishing home field. I know the slip-up last year against Kentucky, but he's really turned Vaught Hemingway into a tough place to play.
Well, I encourage folks to go back and listen. In his opening presser or opening, talking to in the big room, as we like to call it, he talked some numbers, and those numbers I think in a large part kind of went over the head of a lot of people. But if you really dig down, you see that's success that Ole Miss has not had since the days of Johnny Vaught in the early 1960s, Brett. And there are not a lot of people around that can think favorably about those games back in the 60s. So it's absolutely a new day. But what I really liked about Lane Kiffin is he spoke specifically about his 2 parents that passed away. And that happened while he was in Oxford.
Dad last year, Mom
and
this
he
year.
made a specific plea, or a thank you, I should say, to the city of Oxford, to the people of Ole Miss, and how much that he appreciated what they did for him during his time at Ole Miss. And I say all that to say this. You, being the Ole Miss fans, have a coach that not only is winning at a clip that hasn't been done since 1960, insert early year here, and he's happy. That's a really good recipe for success. And then you look at this year, if there's anyone that can get an Ole Miss defense to play well, it's Pete Golding. There's some question marks. I get it on the back half of the secondary. But and I think a lot of Ole Miss fans are like, well, if they can score enough, defense won't play as much of a factor. Early on, that may be the case. Not so much the case in the back
but I don't want to
half
get into make it, take it football.
And that's, they're going to have to prove it to a lot of people because right now on paper, there's not a lot of shine on that Ole Miss defense.
Yeah. But that defense, though, up front, lost a lot on defense, but some names that a lot of people may not be familiar with, but in recruiting, largely in-state, Cam Franklin, William Eccles, Jeffrey Rush, Cam Beavers. They're bringing in Princewell Umanamielen. They're replacing a lot with players that are ready to play.
Yeah, and one of those players, Brett, is Deshaun Womack, the junior transfer out of LSU. That's a very highly decorated player. You mentioned Franklin, Eccles, Rush, and I'll throw in Xavier Harris and Jamarius Brown.
Big X.
Those are guys that came in and had a lot of not mop-up duty, but they were kind of the second tier. They couldn't get on the field because of names like Walter Nolan, Princely Umanamielen,
Pegues,
J.J. Pegues, and Jared Ivey. So they'll get some early snaps. I'm not so sure the defensive line's the biggest question mark. I do think Ole Miss is going to have its issues. The front line of that secondary with Sage Ryan, Jalen Braxton, and Kapina Gashaikin is going to be okay. My thing is I don't know if the depth is there.
If you're good on the front, your defensive line, you're good in your linebacker core,
That'll
can
help.
make a secondary look a lot better.
It can.
If you're real bad up front, average at linebacker, and bad in the secondary, you're going to have to get in and make it take the games.
Yeah. That's right. We talked about the defense a little bit. Offense, we know, also replacing a lot of guys. Who are you most excited about offensively for the Rebels?
Honestly, I mean, everyone's talking about wide receiver and everyone's talking a lot about the offensive line. I'm excited to see tight end Luke Haas, the junior transfer out of Arkansas.
Good answer.
You start.
So you're 2 out of 3 on Arkansas transfers. Go ahead and go with the trifecta.
Let's go ahead and talk about Patrick Kudus. But no, I mean,
it doesn't make them very happy either.
Well, I mean, Luke Haas is a fantastic player. We saw what he did numerous times last year. But Daquan Wright's going to be hard to keep off the field too.
Yeah.
And he did not have a good game against Florida. Dropped a couple of pretty.
But had a great bowl game.
He did have a great bowl game. But the Florida game is one that Ole Miss fans kind of look back on. But I think he's got some things to prove this year. But if I'm looking at one player, I think it's probably going to be Kawan Lacey, the transfer out of Missouri at running back, because Ole Miss can't put all of its eggs into the basket of Logan Diggs, a senior transfer out of LSU, because he's been injured. He did play in the bowl game, but if you remember, Brad, when he came back in and had the carry, he had that brace back on. He had taken it off when he came in to begin with. Shakai Mills-Knight, a freshman running back. I think we could see him early for Ole Miss. But, yeah, I think, Bryant, Kawan Lacey, I think he's a player. He's a dude. He's one that Ole Miss really wanted, but, of course, he chose to go to Missouri. Now he's back in the fold. Lane Kiffin, I asked him today, Coach, if you could kind of go back and look at last year and kind of evaluate in the 3 losses, what could you change? What did you learn? He said, Brad, we've got to run the ball better.
With running backs.
And we've got to run the ball better when it's important.
Running backs between the tackles in those predictable run downs when it's 3rd and 2 and everyone in Western civilization knows you're running it over the center.
Right.
You got to convert.
You have to. And, we saw J.J. Pegues, and that kind of the shine wore off in the latter part of the year, specifically down the stretch against Florida.
J.J. started wanting to kick everything outside.
No
big fella, straight ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they can alleviate some of the issues they had with clutch running, I like to call it. When the money's on the line, when the game's on the line, can you get that first, second, for 1 or 2 yards to get that first down? So, yeah, Kawan Lacey, Shakai Mills-Knight. Don't sleep on Damian Taylor, the senior transfer running back. So, the good news, the D word is back in the running back room. That is depth, and they've got it right now.
Brad, we talked about establishing the home field in Oxford. I know the slip up to Kentucky last year. Kentucky outplayed Ole Miss that day.
No doubt.
Brian is my witness. I promise you that Monday. It's no excuses. It's no goofy bounces. It's none of that. Kentucky for that 3.5 hours was just simply better.
There's no doubt. And you look at that game, and it's just kind of perplexing how Kentucky fell apart in the latter part of the year. But Ole Miss was so close. If you'll remember on the goal line, Brett, I don't know if you're on the goal line or you're in the press box, but they fumbled the ball
into
in the end
in the
zone.
South end zone. I was down there.
And then it just right
that
in
was
the
a
arm for
funky
that tight
bounce.
end. It was a funky bounce. And we talk about the long pass play on fourth down, and, they just beat Ole Miss. I can't say the same about LSU, though. I mean, Ole Miss just kind of handed that game. The voodoo of LSU, the voodoo of Tiger
real.
Stadium, it is absolutely real. I was in it. I was standing by you, and we saw it firsthand.
This year at home, have the Razorbacks at home, have Tulane at opening day, Georgia State, then the Razorbacks, Tulane in Oxford, LSU in Oxford, Washington State in Oxford, South Carolina in Oxford, the Citadel in Oxford, Florida in Oxford. 8 Oxford games for the first time in school history.
And 9 games in the state of Mississippi because you faced Mississippi State on the road on a Friday this year at 11 a.m. Central. I think, to me, Brad, the difference between a good season and a great season happens on Saturday, October the 25th. Tell me what happens when Ole Miss goes on the road to Oklahoma, because I think obviously Ole Miss is going to be an underdog in at least 2 games this year, in my opinion, at Georgia and then LSU at home. Maybe an underdog at Oklahoma, depending on how they are at that point in the season. But I think if Ole Miss, its chalk prevails, which it didn't last year, but let's say it prevails and Ole Miss goes 9-3, 10-2, I think that Oklahoma game could be the swing game. So definitely a game to watch for me.
Let's go bigger picture around the league. So much discussion about 9 games. I have said by now, if the SEC hadn't gone to 9 games, when are we? We had plenty of opportunity to. When, why, how does it happen?
I think you just said it. Commissioner Sankey opened up with that today, talking about, that's been a question about when do we, the SEC, go to 9 games. Lane Kiffin made mention in the big room today about how a lot of people are talking about the SEC needs to go to 9 games. Well, a lot of these teams throughout the country do not play a schedule like the SEC, so therefore they no need to go to 9 games. Yeah. If they haven't done it, I don't know that they ever will. The question is he said the S word today, being super conference, Commissioner Sankey did. If the SEC is already a super conference, they go to 20 teams and you get 3 conferences at 20 teams apiece. I don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really good today that he admitted that they talked about it, but like you said, they haven't done it yet, and it's still 8 games.
How good do you think the conference is this year? You think it's vintage?
I think it's top heavy. I mean, I think Texas and Arch Manning are going to be really good. I think Georgia's going to be really good. I think Alabama and Kalen DeBoer are going to be a lot better this year. Tennessee's going to be good. I think Ole Miss could be good. I think too much is just going on about that defense. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a top-heavy conference, but I think the middle is going to be really solid. Tell me what happens with Auburn. Tell me what happens with Florida. And tell me what happens with South Carolina. Not everybody's going to finish 8th. Yeah. There are going to be teams that finish 10, 11, 12.
And see, Brad, I said in the 2-division setup day, you could kind of get in under a warm blanket of, we were 4th in the West, but we know how tough the West is.
Yeah.
You could kind of do that. Sounded a little lame a lot of times trying to do it, but I tried to do it a time or two. 4th is not so bad. There's no explaining double digits. Or especially after 10. Well, we were 11th, and we were 13th. You can take no value. Well, we were a plucky 12th. You can take no value in that.
I think
those double digits don't hide.
That's a great point. That's what I was going to say. You can't hide in a 16-team 1 through 16.
Mm-mm.
There is no hiding behind Alabama and Auburn.
12th is 12th.
12th is 12th. That's right. And so you look at teams like they're not going to be teams. They're going to be someone like a Mississippi State, a South Carolina, a Kentucky, a Vanderbilt that's going to take a really big step this year. I don't know who it is, but somebody is. Somebody's got to replace them.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's finishing 4th and 5th. So it'll be interesting to see. A team that I'm more interested than anybody, I've said this all day long, Auburn and Hugh Freeze and Texas A&M and Mike Elko. Tell me what happens with those 2 teams, because I'm very interested to see at the end of the year what the hot seat situation looks like.
I did a show in Mobile early this morning. They asked me with how the scheduling, now that Ole Miss doesn't play Alabama and Auburn, do I miss it? I said, heck no, because I know most years what happened in those games for Ole Miss.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Auburn and Alabama have, historically had Ole Miss's number. And that's another thing about the schedule, Brad. You and I've talked about this. Ole Miss avoids Alabama, Auburn. They avoid Tennessee. They avoid Texas. They avoid Texas A&M. And so I say, obviously they do have Georgia, LSU, but they've got Carolina, Florida. The point I'm trying to make, with the non-conference, obviously nobody's sleeping on Tulane. I get it. but the non-conference is not bad. The conference schedule is not bad. This is yet another winnable schedule for Ole Miss. This is not a schedule where you look at it and you're just checking off losses.
Let me take a trip to Norman and just see what happens.
Yeah.
I know most years what happens at Bryant-Denny and at Jordan-Hare.
We don't know what happens at Oklahoma.
Let me find out.
Good point.
It might be something that's too much to try to explain, but I'm going to take a ride on that for a little while and just see.
Yeah, that's the game for me.
Definitely give it a try. Brad, last thing for you. Brett asked you about conference schedule. I'll ask you another hot button question around the SEC and college football. What is your perfect college football playoff? What does it look like? How many teams? What format? What do you want to see with the college football playoff?
I'm fine, Bryant, like it is. I'm really not big into expanding. This is not the basketball tournament. I'm not. I would also think there could be an argument that there's too many teams in the college football playoff.
Amen.
But I want to say this real quick while we've got a second. I'm grateful that the NCAA is trying to get a handle on the NIL situation, and what I mean by that is they're making players in NIL deals under $600 have to go through a clearinghouse. It's much too late to do this, but I am excited that they're trying to get some type of legislation. Mm-hmm. College football needs someone like a Greg Sankey or someone like a Nick Saban to take a step forward and to say, I'm tired of it. We've got to take a stand. Now, revenue sharing is here, and I get that, and I think that's going to legislate a lot of this. But until they get control of the Wild Wild West like it is, I don't think this is good for college football. I do think we're taking a positive step with revenue sharing and with the clearinghouse getting in place with the NIL deals, and the NIL deals becoming what they should be and to begin with, car dealerships and that sort of thing to sell the likeness for the athlete. They deserve to be paid, but they deserve to be paid the right way.
Next commissioner of college football, Brad Logan.
I'll support it.
You do. We could do a lot worse.
No, you are not wrong about that. Brad, as always, thanks
Brad.
so much
Always
for
a
joining
pleasure.
us.
Thank
We'll
you.
definitely
Thank you.
do it soon.
A highlight of the year. A highlight of every weekend's
That's right.
run into you. Thank you, Brad.
Brad Logan joining us from On 3 and Ole Miss Spirit. Always good catching up with Brad. I want to remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, Brad brought up that Oklahoma game. That's a tough spot for that Oklahoma game. On the road against Oklahoma, week before, on the road against Georgia. We know what happened in that game last year. Georgia's going to want revenge at home, so that is a really tough 2-game. Then the next week, you've got South Carolina. That is a really tough 3-game stretch for Ole Miss.
That is a tough stretch, but everybody's got to do it, and these schedules are all so imposing. As we're looking at them, I've talked about you look at that schedule grid and just where are those losses coming from. Yeah, in our next segment, we're going to do the unthinkable at SEC Media Days. Cool. We're not going to talk college football. We're not going to talk SEC.
We're going to try not to get thrown out of SEC Media Days.
I know. It's going to surprise people when we look at tomorrow night's All-Star starters, American and National League, to 2000, the last time Atlanta hosted, to 1972, the time before that they hosted, and who the National League starting pitcher was that night. We'll do all that, but we are at SEC Media Days, live from the College Football Hall of Fame, Landers Ford in Collierville, the official vehicle of SEC Media Days. Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Jim's Place in Collierville, Ronnie Grisani's in Regalia, Gould Salon and Spa, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, Jimmy McElroy and Associates, and, of course, our friends at Sissy's Log Cabin, the sponsor of our text and talk line, with us all the time, and will be with us at the golf tournament again for leaderboard updates throughout the year. Bill Jones, his great team, they are part of our team. A premier destination for extraordinary jewelry combining tradition with modern elegance. The standalone store on Poplar that you can explore the unique attributes that make this location so great. Something like you'd see on Michigan Avenue or on Turtle Creek in Dallas. This store will serve as a model for all future locations for Sissy's Log Cabin. We want the audience to come by and see the store and really want them to understand the Sissy's promise of extraordinary service, selection, experience, and quality. They have great partnerships as the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers, big sponsors of both. Including the Kiss Cam at Memphis Tigers game. So pucker up with the good people from Sissy's Log Cabin and the VIP experience at Grizzlies games that people can enjoy as well. Expansive 9,000 square foot store with special attention to the 800 square feet just inside dedicated to Rolex and the new Cartier line. It's Sissy's Log Cabin because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
I know we're going to look at all-star lineups in our next segment, so we don't really have a What's Trending segment today, but I do want to throw this out there. News coming out about an hour ago that the Jets and wide receiver Garrett Wilson have reached an agreement on a 4-year, $130 million contract extension that includes $90 million of guaranteed money. That comes from Adam Schefter. So a big payday for the wide receiver for the New York Jets. We'll talk a lot about that tomorrow afternoon when Bo Marchant joins us to talk a little NFL tomorrow afternoon. But definitely good news for the Jets as they kind of look to do a little something different next season as they move on from Aaron Rodgers, but they lock up their star wide receiver. Also, Penny Hardaway adding to his staff. Jason Munns reporting earlier today that Penny Hardaway has added Kristen Kelly as the director of basketball operations at Memphis per sources. So in addition to the Tiger basketball coaching staff. So a lot of news around the place when it comes to the NFL and Tiger basketball. But let's go ahead and get to another break. When we return, we'll switch gears. We will talk a little bit about the All-Star game tomorrow night. Take a look back at what the rosters look like the last time that MLB had their All-Star game in Atlanta. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Ribs.
Toes. Well, what are we playing?
I want to do a Central Barbecue spot about their fantastic ribs.
Should be easy enough. Central Barbecue has got amazing ribs.
I know that. You know that. The people probably know that. But I want to do them justice.
Well, they're slow smoked for 24 hours over hickory and pecan to give them amazing flavor.
And Central Barbecue never has sauce in the pit.
Now, I don't know what that means, but it seems impressive.
It is. I just want to make them sound perfect.
We mentioned that they're slow smoked, delicious, and we've said Central Barbecue at least 3 times. I say we call it a solid 30 seconds.
Job well done. Central Barbecue. Ribs.
Not toes.
Newsflash, Family Leisure needs your help. Family Leisure has a warehouse full of inventory, and they need it cleaned out. Do your part to make room for new items, and you get great deals on almost everything. Listen up. All in-stock patio furniture, it's up to 80% off. You can get a 4-piece deep seating set for under $1,000. Chaise lounges. You buy one, and you're going to need another, and that other one will be one half off. All Pollywood furniture. It's now 20 to 30% off. You buy any dining table, you're going to get an umbrella absolutely free, and they're not cheap. Now, is financing available? You better believe it. Special financing is a go. To sum it all up, Family Leisure has got to clear out its warehouse inventory, which means you're going to rack up the savings. Help Family Leisure clear out the warehouse. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together to clean out the warehouse.
Hey, Rock
Talking Ronnie, the Hyundai Getaway sales event is still going strong at Gossett Hyundai South on Mount Moriah in your brand new dealership.
That's right, Randy. It's a great new dealership. Service available that is less wait time than anyone in town. 16 service bays and immediate appointments available. Plus a 2025 Hyundai Kona SEL. $287.02 a month and rates at 3.99 for 72 months available. 2025 Hyundai Tucson SE. $313.38 a month and rates at 2.99 for 48 months available. And a 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe 2.5 SE. We got it at $339.57 a month and 0% for 60 months available.
Plus America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Hyundai South, 2660 Mount Moriah. Online, HyundaiMountMoriah.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Do you know what Penny Hardaway and I have in common? We should both be in that building celebrating the best basketball players of all time. Of course, I'll have to buy a ticket to get in, but he should already be there. But seriously, we both surround ourselves with the best people we can find. We work hard to achieve our goals, and we are both among the best in our respective fields. At Fiveash, we can't win titles or get national awards, but what we can and do strive to do is give 100% of ourselves to give you the best product possible and one you can be proud of. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call at 901-367-0050, and we will do everything we can to provide you the best of everything. Fiveash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still running a little bit slow out here on 40 eastbound at Chambers Chapel from that earlier crash we had, but it was already going to get busy out here this time of the afternoon anyway. Again, all it did was aggravate that heavy traffic this time of day on 40 east at Chambers Chapel as traffic picks up on 240 getting on to 385 Billmore. Parkway going outbound. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by and see them this week at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. Going to take a little break from SEC Media Days, but not really a break from Atlanta because tomorrow night, we know tonight, Home Run Derby, but tomorrow night, the All-Star Game for Major League Baseball. And something we like to do every year is kind of take a look back, compare this year's roster to previous rosters. So, Brett, what are we comparing today?
Well, we're going to compare it to 2000, the year 2000 at Ted Turner Field that was built to host the opening and closing ceremonies and a lot of track and field events for the 1996 Olympics, then converted into baseball only. And now it's where Georgia State football plays, where the Memphis Tigers will play September 13th against the Georgia State Panthers. But that was known as the TED. And compared to this year's lineup, it's rough for this year. Now, this year doesn't have the sweet test of time.
Sure.
We don't know what Junior Caminero is going to go on and do. He could go on and be one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. You know, and we already know Aaron Judge is great and can just really add to it. But it does not compare favorably the 2000 year to this year or 1972 when it was at then called Atlanta Stadium, then became Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. I'll tell you who the National League starter was in 1972 and just see if anything can compare to that. Bob Gibson.
Well, okay. Already done.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's rough.
It's really rough.
But Paul Skeens,
Yeah.
I think is well on his way.
Sure.
The American League starter in 72 was Jim Palmer in the Hall of Fame. Tarek Skubal, we'll see. 6 Hall of Famers on that 72 American League team. Dick Allen, Rod Carew, Brooks Robinson, Carl Yastrzemski, Mr. October, and Jim Palmer out of the starters. Just out of the starters for the National League, 6 Hall of Famers that year. Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan, Joe Torre as a manager in the Hall of Fame, but he was 71 MVP of the National League. Willie Stargell, Hall of Fame. Willie Mays, Hall of Fame. Hank Aaron, Hall of Fame. That's left, center, and right. Stargell, Mays,
really
Aaron,
good.
Bob Gibson pitching. And the starting shortstop in 1972 for the National League, the greatest Far City Mustang ever, awesome. Donnie Kessinger.
That is awesome. Yeah, when I
not even close. There's no close second on baseball in the history of Far City, Donnie Kessinger. I think Donnie is first. Could be argument with former Tiger great Arthur Banks, late 70s. And football, I think he would even say he wasn't the best football player ever out of Far City, but he's in the top 5.
I mean, that's incredible.
That ain't bad, is it?
Just an athlete out there. I mean, I guess if you're a professional anything, you were probably a pretty good athlete. So that
American League starters in 2000, 3 Hall of Famers. Rod at catcher for the Rangers, Ivan Rodriguez, Roberto Alomar, second base, then with Cleveland, that year with Cleveland, Derek Jeter at shortstop. I mean, that's impossible for Jacob Wilson right now to compare to.
No,
It's really not fair.
It's impossible, yeah. I mean, it's completely impossible to even compare any of these guys to a guy that young.
National League Hall of Famers in 2000, hometown product, Chipper Jones, shortstop, Barry Larkin, left fielder, Vladimir Guerrero.
How about that?
He's got a son playing tomorrow night, playing first base. How about that?
That's pretty good.
And pitcher Randy Johnson. Sammy Sosa was in right field. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He's not going to be, and we know why. Center fielder for the National League in 2000, Jim Edmonds. First baseman Andres Galarraga, playing that year for the Braves. I think the Cardinals had Andres Galarraga in his only bad year of baseball.
Well, you know, Brett, the more and more you talk about old Cardinals, it sounds like they got a lot of guys on maybe their worst year in Major League Baseball.
But sometimes you get those good years, those wheelhouse years, like Jack Clark with the Cardinals.
Right.
So comparing catcher Will Smith for the Dodgers, even to Johnny Bench, it's just impossible.
So
Freddie Freeman, Ketel Marte, Manny Machado. Manny Machado is going to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. He'll be a Hall of Famer for sure. But, yeah, I mean, it's hard to and you mentioned it before we even started looking at these rosters, that sweet test of time. I mean, the longer that those guys retired, the fact that those guys are in the Hall of Fame, because like you said, we know Manny Machado is going to be a Hall of Famer, but talking about him right now, he's not a Hall of Famer. So when you say Hall of Famer, insert name, compared to him, it's not really a very good comparison. But
think of the year in the career that Jackson Dart had at Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
That may not be enough time for him to top the Manning legacy, either Eli or Archie, but that's how good Burrow was. Knock off Billy Cannon when we were talking to Matt Moscona about it. We don't know this. I don't think he will be, but what if Pete Crow Armstrong goes on to be the greatest Cub ever?
Yeah. We don't. I mean, he could. He certainly is already a fan favorite. He's got
the
that
no
part
is
of it
the
now.
easy bet.
Sure, that's with everybody. But who's to say? I mean, who's to say at the end of the day that one of these young guys doesn't become the greatest player of all time for their franchise? And it's just hard. It's hard to compare, and it's hard to compare, especially right in the middle of their season. And for a lot of these guys, very early in their season. You mentioned Crow Armstrong. You mentioned earlier, Jacob Wilson for the Athletics. Some of these guys are really, really young in their careers. You mentioned Junior Caminero earlier. These are guys that are really young, still a ton of baseball to be played. We really don't know what's in store for a lot of these guys. But so far, they've shown some really nice things and showed that they are really good players. One of the controversial things over the weekend in terms of the All-Star game, Jacob Mizorowski being named to the All-Star roster after only 5 starts in the majors. What did you make of that decision, Brett?
I don't mind it. I'm not as repulsed as some. It's got some people really sore over it. I'm not there. I'm trying not to get too steamed up about anything All-Star related because what does it really matter?
You just said it. It's an all-star game. I mean, who at the end of the day really cares? I think that was kind of part of the decision is, this is a guy that has kind of come in and taken over Major League Baseball. I mean, anytime he pitches, whether for better or for worse now, he is one of the first stories of anybody that covers Major League Baseball. After one of his performances, we're talking about what Jacob Mizorowski did last night, or we're talking about what Jacob Mizorowski did earlier in the day. He is a big topic of conversation because of what he's done. So I think getting that kind of exciting young guy into the All-Star game where everyone can see him and all of that is probably what they were going for. I think way too early. Like you said, I'm not going to get mad or whatever about anybody being named to the All-Star game. But I was very surprised when I saw that news over the weekend that he was going to make his All-Star game debut after just 5 Major League starts.
Yeah, I think it's probably baseball trying to plant a seed for the future.
Yeah, I mean it's popularity. He's young. He's already shown that he has star power, and try to get one of those young guys that maybe they can kind of center as kind of the face of the game going forward, and one of those faces of the game kind of get out there and get to him really, really early. But it'll be fun to see all these guys. I'm excited for the All-Star game tomorrow night. The best All-Star game in all of sports. I mean it's not even close.
It is, but could be so much better if we really wanted to. But it's obvious they don't want to. Best rumor heard last night concerning future home run derbies. A real thought being given to maybe next year the 4th of July is on a Saturday.
Okay.
And moving the home run derby to that Saturday and games not played.
Interesting. So it wouldn't be moving like All-Star Week, it would just be moving the home run derby, right? Or
just the home run derby.
Interesting. I mean, that'd certainly be cool.
It is.
I mean, you could certainly market it around fireworks and
because this year baseball, I don't feel like they got destroyed on the 4th of July. Look, the 4th of July is a day where 15 or 30 teams are playing. There's 15 games, but we know the king of 4th of July now. It's a guy gorging himself on hot dogs.
I didn't know if that was the right answer or not, but it's the first one that I came to mind. I mean, the legend of Joey Chestnut.
Stuffing weenies, that wet weenies down his mouth.
Freddie's your fool. I mean, he's now a rebel.
So I get everything good and bad.
That's right. I mean, but hey, he's a legend. He's phenomenal. I mean, what he does. Even those
don't
dogs
flag the tape on the verbiage of gorging wet weenies down your mouth.
Certainly not. That one could live on. But you're right. I mean, it is between that and just between everyone.
Okay, it's late on Monday.
That's right, very late on Monday, a busy Monday to say the least, SEC Media Days. But no, I mean, this is a time where a lot of people are out, a lot of people are at the lake or, doing fun stuff with the family, grilling out, so.
I wouldn't think about it 2 seconds if I'm baseball. There's no way I'd do it. We're going to play our schedule. We're going to be baseball. And if some fool eating hot dogs knocks us off, okay.
Yeah, I'm like trying to sell it in my head, but I'm with you. I don't think you just put a whole stop on one day and say, all right.
In baseball, quit trying so hard. Just be baseball.
Just be baseball. I think at times they are trying a little bit too hard. But, it's an idea, I guess. But usually I say ideas are good, like bring them as the more ideas, the better. But with Major League Baseball, the more ideas I hear, the less I'm saying, give me the ideas. I think it's just
they always get exponentially worse, don't they? With baseball,
they really do. I'm glad they're coming up with ideas, but I need better ideas instead of what we're getting from Major League Baseball. And now you're seeing a lot of rumors around kind of trade deadline and kind of who could be moving, what guys could be on the move. But it's going to be a busy week coming out of All-Star break to see kind of where these moves are made around Major League Baseball.
Yeah, the push to deadline. It will be.
It's going to be a push to deadline. So we'll see what those moves are and if any of them involve the St. Louis Cardinals.
So many great SEC Media Day sponsors, and they're with us throughout the year for other things and all the time. We appreciate them so much. And very, very soon on Fridays, we'll be talking Tiger basketball with Jason Mons from the Commercial Appeal. That's brought to you every year these last few years by Jim's Place Grill. And Jim's Place Grill with us this week for Media Days, and they'll be with us for the FedEx St. Jude Championship as well in August. Over 100 years of charcoal grill steaks. Doesn't that sound good for tonight? Over 100 years of celebrations and family time and lasting great memories. The Terrace family with their touch for our community with recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown and now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Every steak grilled perfectly over an open flame. Come to Jim's Place and taste and see and feel the difference. And I don't know how, but late in the winter, I was introduced finally to Mimi's Chili at Jim's Place Grill. And you know the chili connoisseur that I am, Bryant, and it's my favorite. It's beanless. It's Texas-style chili. I found that late in the winter. I'm going to find it early next winter. Lunch hours Monday through Friday, 11 a to 2 p.m. Dinner hours Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. A Memphis landmark, Jim's Place Grill. They've got it with hard work, values, and a dedication to their beloved diners. The lunch menu, the staples like the souffle mile, the shrimp cocktail, crab cakes, and those salad dressings, all homemade. At dinner, the calamari, the soups, the seafood, and the steaks, ribeyes, fillets, and strips. Great bar area for you to enjoy any night, but Monday night, tonight for sure, all at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville.
All right, Brett, you got to give me a pick. Home run derby tonight. Who are we taking?
Call me the little dumper. I'm going to take the big dumper.
All right, big dumper. I don't know. I want to take big dumper, but I might have to go with the local flair.
That would be a good hip hop nickname, wouldn't it? Little dumper stats.
It could be.
That's how they do it. They just add little to
I mean, it doesn't knock off Little Nas X.
No.
Pretty good, isn't it?
I like it. I think I like it. We'll kind of workshop that. We'll get something going for sure. But
between that audio about the weenies and Little Dumper stats, boy, it could live forever.
Late on a Monday afternoon, Brett. That is for sure. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. And when we return, we'll wrap everything up with Mo's Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948. The Rendezvous.
Up your life with Lads.
Surprise the family with a new club car and experience the best golf cart in the industry. A new golf cart is perfect for cruising the neighborhood, enjoying yourself at the lake, turning heads on the course, and just having something reliable to use around the yard. Lads has you covered with new and used golf cars. The new Club Car Onward, available in electric or gas and a variety of colors and features. Lads goes beyond the green. Whitten I-40 or online at lads.net.
When you're hungry for good meat, trust the family that has been feeding Memphis since 1967. Charlie Hogan and the Triangle Meat Company, formerly Charlie's Meat Market. Trust Triangle Meat for fresh beef, hamburger, and roast. Trust Triangle Meat for delicious pork ribs, chops, and butts. And trust Triangle Meat for tender chicken you'll love. Feeding lots of folks, Triangle Meat Company has all the meat you need. Shop Triangle Meat Company, 8 to 5, Monday through Saturday, 4790 Summer Avenue, 901-683-1192. Fresh or frozen, big or small, trust Triangle Meat Company.
He's on the line, Marty McNade over at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, and he's ready to bring you back to the future with V-Dub deals that'll blow you away. What's up, McNade?
Randy, get ready to ride in 2025 Jetta Sport or 2025 TOS. Take your pick at $349 a month. 2025 Atlas SE, $399 a month. Or 2024 Atlas Peak Editions or 2024 GTI SE or 2024 Atlas CrossSport SEL R-Line. $5,000 off MSRP.
Plus 2.9 for 60 months on 2025 Atlas is available.
So come see me today, Marty McNade at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com. And remember, your future is what you make of it.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Jacobs.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, Brett, what I learned today, it's something that we already knew, but I'll be completely honest, I forgot all about it until earlier this morning when Greg Sankey talked about it in his press conference to kick off SEC Media Days. And then I saw this tweet earlier today, straight from the source, Netflix. SEC football, any given Saturday, a Netflix sports series offering an exclusive look at key matchups throughout the SEC season will premiere August 5th. Witness the unparalleled pressure, commitment, and raw emotion it takes to be a D1 football player in college football's leading conference. Greg Sankey talked about it earlier this morning about how they had that opportunity with Netflix to have this behind-the-scenes opportunity, and now we'll see it August 5th. So right around the corner, less than a month, we will get this. The kind of picture for it has the backs of the jerseys of Lenore Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, DJ Lagway, Diego Pavia. You can see him as well, Cam Coleman. So some of the bigger stars in the SEC will be featured in this series. Should be a lot of fun to see how this looks, and really the first time we'll get this real behind-the-scenes look at the conference as a whole and a lot of these teams in the SEC from Netflix. So should be a lot of fun, premiering on August 5th.
Learned a lot from the commissioner speaking from the main dais today. We will have him with us on Wednesday at 5:30 Central, 5:30 Memphis time. The commissioner of the SEC will be with us, and we'll ask him about a lot of these things, including, he says, the SEC and the Big Ten have different view of the college football playoff. I'm fine with the SEC and the Big Ten having a different view of things. I'm all for meritocracy, though. I don't want any bigfooting. I don't want any talk of automatic qualifying for AQs. I'm not even wild about one, the conference champion, but I don't think I can win on that. I want 16 at larges. I don't think I'm going to get that to suit me. I think it's going to go 5 and 11. What I want, and they may have a different view than the rest of college football on this, I want a selection committee, I think, that has some sense about it.
Sure.
And has some judgment about it and recognizes that every conference schedule is not the same. In most years, the SEC and the Big Ten playing their conference schedule, whether it's 8 or 9, it's tougher than the other leagues.
Yeah, no,
understand
exactly
that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, no question about it. So that'll be fun. we'll definitely ask Commissioner Sankey about that when he joins us later in the week.
No different, Bryant, than if you go play, I don't want to disparage anybody's golf course,
sure,
but if you go play golf course X and then you go play Spring Creek.
Yeah. No. It's 9-day difference.
I think you know which one's tougher.
Exactly. No doubt about it. Well, what I could have done without today, Brett, it's the story regarding Teddy Bridgewater. We know the former NFL quarterback went back high school head coach at Miami Northwestern High School, and now he's under investigation. The Florida High School Athletic Association is looking into an allegation following a recent Facebook post regarding donations per the Palm Beach Post, and then later we have learned that Teddy Bridgewater has been suspended by the high school. So I don't know where this is going, but we're paying out of, I don't know what we're doing, Teddy Bridgewater, but something is not sitting right with the athletic association down there in Miami.
Is it allowed during Moe's and Humdinger's crunch time to have something you could have done without that way back at the beginning of the show was your top story of the day? Is that allowed?
I think that's allowed.
That doesn't violate any ethics or...
I think that's fine.
Well, that's what I could have done without my top. I could have done without my top story of the day, and it kind of made the rounds for about an hour here today. Greg McElroy, the former Alabama national champion, winning quarterback, on his show this morning on Jocks on Mac and Cole Kubelik, he reported from what he said, a very good source, of the interest of Coach Nick Saban of returning to college football. There's not a chance it's happening. There's no chance I could. And way back at top story of the day, if you don't believe it's talking season, the idea of Nick Saban returning is proof positive. It's talking season.
No, it is absolutely talking season. But I think we feel pretty good that Nick Saban is done with coaching.
He's very happy with TV. And has it changed that much, the dynamic that kind of made him say, I've had enough?
I don't think
Has
so.
that changed that much?
No, not at all.
House settlement? And
no.
I don't think
Maybe
so
it's gotten worse. I mean, I think it's only gotten more, maybe not worse, but more complicated for sure. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Truist Park, to the home run derby. That should be a lot of fun. And what if baseball, if they admitted to it, juiced up the balls where every ball was just flying out of there like a golf ball tonight?
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, get some pop in there. I mean,
that'd be really fun.
We're going to see that, aren't we, Landon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You want to see home runs, so might as well just have
how many dingers can they get?
Night.
But you know what would happen? Some wise guy's going to save one of the balls, cut it in half,
of course,
and find out it's launch code nuclear,
and then it's going to be a big issue about what does this mean for the rest of the baseballs we're using in Major League Baseball. I mean, it becomes a whole ordeal.
What else is baseball hiding from us? That would be the issue.
Yeah, it sure
nobody
would be.
Trusts Manfred.
No, and why would they? At the end of the day, but yeah, beam me to the home run derby as well. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight seeing all of these guys. We'll see. Will it be the big dumper? Will it be the local product in Brent Rooker? Some other really talented baseball hitters participating tonight, so it should be a lot of fun from Atlanta.
It will be also. We'll keep a reaction on day one of SEC Media Days. Because today we had 3 of the 4 teams are thinking playoffs.
That's right.
LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina. Vandy's not thinking playoffs. Mm-hmm. They're thinking a really successful year, though. There's no math that all 3, LSU, Ole Miss, and South Carolina, get into December's playoffs.
Definitely not.
None.
But we talked about that earlier. A really good day of some really interesting teams today of what kind of 2025 looks like for them. But we are out of time. I want to thank our sponsors one more time before we get out of here today, making this week possible at SEC Media Days. Landers Ford in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place Grill in Collierville, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Gould's Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grisani's in Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Dance. Now, if you're looking for tires at a great price, Raleigh Tire has got you covered with national brands like Continental, General, Michelin, and more. And if your truck or car needs attention, well, the friendly folks at Raleigh Tire can help you there also. From oil changes to engines, they're a full-service department. And when you roll in, How about telling them Bill Dan sent you? You're just going to love doing business with these folks that treat you like family. Raleigh Tire.
Need reliable tires that keep you rolling smoothly? Look no further than Raleigh Tire. Whether you're cruising city streets or tackling rugged terrain, Raleigh Tire has you covered. Our tires are built for durability, performance, and safety. Plus, with unbeatable prices and exceptional customer service, you'll drive away with confidence. Raleigh Tire, where the rubber meets the road. Visit Collierville, Cordova, Arlington, and Olive Branch.
Rolling, Raleigh Tire keeps you rolling.
I don't think I'm a bad golfer. I know I'm a bad golfer. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. And sometimes bad is not quite the right word. Awful, that's more like it. And when it comes to selling houses, that's a whole different story. Over the many years that I've been in the real estate business, I have refined and perfected my highly successful strategic marketing program. In golf, forget about my normal 5 strokes on the par 3. But remember the home I just closed in November with 2 offers at full list price. Okay, let's review. If you're thinking of selling, wouldn't you want an experienced player on your team to lead you to the closing table? Someone whose background is marketing and